Hello, Raz. How are you doing today? We are once again back with the lovely. Oh, we can't see the title. Oh, there's no title on the screen. We're back with the lovely game. Please be happy about the cute little fox girl right in the middle there. Right there. Look at her go. The cute fox girl Miho on her adventure to discover meaning in life. I forgot the exact what happens, but I know that it's adorable. I love it. Miho's awesome. Sadly, I have to restart.
Oh, it's about time. I was getting bored.
Rude much, Miho? But yeah, we're gonna go. We're jumping right in again from
I'll
the
raise
start. I'm going well. Fog settled over the forest, far from the village and towns, and with it came silence. Birch trees shivered, pondering the weather, and dropping their leaves in fright. Streams bubbled unseen by man, and babbled like the birds in the trees. In the middle of the forest was a grove, and in the middle of that grove was a log. It had been years since it had fallen. Once one of the proudest trees around, and now, in death, was home to an abundance of life. A line of frantic ants ran to and fro, mushrooms, cloud-like and pillowy, sprouted across one side like a footpath for fairies. Nearby, an old toad flopped contentedly in the mud. And inside the deep, damp hollow of the tree, something slept. A traveler strolled into the grove. Their steps were slow and tired, and they spotted the log with relief. Like greeting an old friend, weary from the day's journey, the traveler sat to take a rest. Whoosh. With a scrabbling of nails on rotten wood, the shadow bolted from inside the log to the tall grass nearby. The traveler watched the bushes rustle as a faint path of fur appeared within. Hello there, friend. I didn't mean to disturb you. They held their hands towards the grass, offering a piece of dried fish. At first, there was no reaction, and then her snout appeared, quivering as it tested the air, then followed the rest of the fox, sleek and tawny. As she took several slow steps forward, her amber eyes were alight with mistrust, but also with wild curiosity. The stranger sat unfazed, their offering still outstretched. They dared to meet the fox's eyes, and in that glance felt something kindred. As the fox closed her jaw around the gift, a bond was made. Maybe we aren't so different, you and I. The traveler returned the next day, and then after that, each day they brought some treat for their new friend. Each day, the fox's steps grew a little more trusting. One day, when the traveler arrived, the fox was sitting in the clearing, waiting patiently.
Hello, my friend. Have you been waiting long?
The fox peered up at the traveler. Her amber eyes were warm and trusting. She accepted her gift of meat, gnawing it at the traveler's feet then and there. The traveler sat, imprinting into their mind the feeling of the wood beneath them, the clear air around them, and the tender bond of companionship.
Where is your home, little fox? Is it here in this grove? Or do you come to see me too? This will be the last time, I'm afraid. Because I'll be going home tomorrow.
I think this is the exact same thing I saw last time. I kind of wanted to skip to where I was before. I don't know where I was before.
home is such a small place compared to the rest of the world. Yet, it's some place I can't wait to return to. I wish I could bring you with me, little friend. I wish that you could see the world too. Your home is all around me though, isn't it? It's wherever the trees are, wherever the leaves fall. Little fox, perhaps it's you who's the more fortunate of the two of us.
I'm going to skip mode everything for a minute. I'm just gonna try to get back to where I was. I think I uninstalled the demo, which in turn uninstalled the save I had before, which is a bit concerning. You know, it's kind of just want to get back to where I was before. Oh, I love this. I still love this place. This game is great. You know, I'm skipping through like everything because I need to get back to where I was when I finished the demo, just so long ago. It's... I want to get to the cute stuff. I mean, this stuff is already cute, but you know, I want to get back to where I was. The cuter stuff. The romance. The love interests. Miho existing. Look at Miho. So pretty, and for what? This is illegal. Illegal to be this pretty. It's after I got a room, I believe. Should be very soon. Okay, this is... Keep going, we're almost there. Almost there. we're just going through, almost there. I'm getting a room soon. Okay, this is... Stop skipping for a minute. Take a... Hello there. Just gonna save real quick, just in case. Alright, so, let's see. I believe I want to here. First, meet the little boy who's hiding. Parent, the boy. Spirit. You can see spirits. I forgot about that. But I think I want here. Meet the dude. The very kind fisherman. Library is the ending thing. The library. For some reason, I forgot we're in the library. Oh, we're gonna steal something. Hi. It's our home. Steal your painting. I gave your painting back. I think it's around here.
It's still here.
Not here yet, almost. Look for the table. Table. Yeah, we just found out. We just figured out that we're no longer forgotten. After a day, which is jarring.
Okay, I can do this.
I stand off to the side of the entrance, preparing myself as people pass to and fro. My heart is racing, the same way it does during the tense break-in. Maybe even harder. My tail twitches back and forth. Usually I don't notice it, but right now I'm super aware of everything about myself. Fighting off my instincts, I open the door and let myself in. I'd been expecting to have to look for Juliet, but instead she's right by the entrance. What surprised me most, however, is the woman leaning against the large desk beside her, Aspen, who's now engaged in conversation with a look of deep concern on her face.
She wasn't there when I checked the bedroom. I wish she would have spoken to me first, at least.
I barely catch the end of Juliet's sentence. She notices me only moments after I spot her, and for a second her mouth forms a surprise O. A perfect O of surprise.
Juliet? What are you...
Aspen turns around to follow Juliet's gaze, her eyes open wide at the sight of me.
Miho!
My brain goes blank. Rehearsed lines flying out of my head.
Hey there.
I slink over to where they're standing, hands in my pocket, unsure what I should say first.
It's nice to see you again, Miho. I was hoping that you'd return.
Me too. That was pretty sudden. I worked extra hard on that drink for you, you know.
Oh my god, I love them. Oh my god, why are they so pretty? Oh my fucking god. It's illegal, what the fuck? I freeze up, looking for the words. Aspen's expression softens in concern.
Miho? Alright, the drink. I'm sorry. Well, I ended up drinking it myself, so I suppose I can't complain too much.
Oh, I love her. She laughs, and I can't stop myself from blurting out my next words.
You seem different. I'm sorry? Like, less polite? Well, I'm not at work anymore, am I?
What have I been saying? What were they planning to say again?
Will you be staying for a while, Miho? If so, we can continue this conversation in the dining room. It's a bit more private there.
Juliet, take charge. Juliet, sorry, I can't read. Juliet takes charge of the conversation effortlessly, and I'm talking too fast, and I accidentally sigh in relief.
Yeah, sure. That sounds great. I'm not gonna run away again.
I'm glad to hear that. Right this way, then.
Juliet leads the way down the hall and into one of the locked rooms. I forgot to tweet my tweet. It's been sitting here in my drafts. I forgot I was gonna do that. I knew I forgot something. I'm tweeting because I gotta just post this tweet. I misspelled replies. It says reppies. Fuck. Ah. Oh well. I don't care. It's too late. It's been tweeted. Oh well. No turning back now. I can't. No, is there? Oh fuck! I forgot I was supposed to do this. I forgot I was gonna do this. With the return of the bet of this game, we're doing lesbian. Type in lesbian real quick, and we're gonna get back to the lesbian dress. I forgot who made the dress because I'm an idiot who doesn't have a memory. Let me just look at my phone. I think I have it on my phone real quick. Or maybe I don't. I don't know. I don't, because I'm an idiot who deleted the fucking reference. I'm a mess. But we once again return with the very adorable lesbian dress. I need to figure out the credits again. I have it somewhere on my phone. Give me a hot second. This credit is important. The dress is made by Minnie Desley on Booth. Like Minnie, MINIDESLEY. Minnie Desley. Desley. I don't know how to pronounce her name. We enter a cozy little room with a table and a few chairs, as well as a fridge. The three of us sit down, although I move my chair so I'm not so close to the others.
Can I get you anything to eat or drink, Miho?
I shake my head. I'm hungry, but I'm way too nervous to eat. Juliet smiles in response to my answer, which came just a little too quickly to sound natural. By the way both she and Aspen are looking at me, I can tell they're expecting me to say something first. And the words that I planned are coming back to me. What do people even say in a situation like this? The temptation to run away is overwhelming, The door is just a few feet behind me. My knuckles widen as I tensely clench my fists in my lap, pushing myself to resist the urge. I told myself that I'm going to take this chance, even if it's the hardest thing I've ever done. I'm going to be honest with them.
Well...
I struggle to think of what to say. Juliet waits patiently, her eyes gazing coolly in my direction, more than directly at me, directly at mine. Aspen soon grows restless, however, and her expression clouded with concern.
Sorry. I don't know how to just say things. I've only ever copied other people's, so I...
Aspen's expression clears up in some sort of understanding.
It's okay, Miho. Take your time.
And you find where to put my cursor. There it is.
So I... don't really know how to... talk like this.
You're doing just fine.
I love them.
If you say so.
Look at them go. They are so adorable. It is illegal.
It's not just talking either. I don't know much about anything. Well, anything human. All I really know about is being a fox. And all we foxes care about is how to survive. It might be hard to believe, but I'm not a normal fox either. There's something kinda special about me. Kinda different.
I finger the beads around my neck. Their constant warmth and presence is reassuring. I avoid looking at either Aspen or Juliet's face. What else?
Usually, I have to steal to get by. I don't just have to, I like to. I'm good at it too. That's how I ended up meeting Juliet. And the reason I'm so good at it is because I don't know why it happens, but ever since I got my human form, everyone forgets me. Even the people who catch me stealing from them. After a day or two, I can walk right past their face and they wouldn't even recognize me. No one has ever recognized me. Until Aspen remembered who I was at the Bell House. It was such a shock that I ran away. That's what I always do. I was thinking about leaving Wellington forever, even though I just arrived a couple days ago. I'm still kind of tempted. But instead, I came back here. And that's it.
Just hearing the words coming out of my mouth makes me want to die of embarrassment. It makes me uncomfortable when other people think about me. And yet, putting everything out there feels surprisingly good. It feels like a weight has come off my shoulders. There's no going back now, and that's a relief in its own way.
So you're saying that you've never ever had a family? Or a friend? Nope, never. And not since I stopped being a regular fox, at least. Oh. I'm so sorry to hear that. Why? Well, because that's... not to be rude, but that sounds rather lonely to me. Lonely, huh? I've never thought about it before. I see.
Aspen sits back, still looking concerned. From the way she keeps fidgeting, I get the impression she wants to say more, but is holding back. Juliet swoops in to salvage the situation. I can't talk for some reason.
You have been very brave to stay here, Miho. I'm personally glad that you decided to come back to the library. I had your room prepared in hopes that you would.
Library.
You're welcome to use it for as long as you'd like. I think that we could become great friends.
Friends.
I roll the words around my mouth as if it were a strange food. I'm gingerly trying. Is that a word that fits me? Is that something I could have? It never seemed like a possibility before. None of what Juliet's offered to me has. Right now it feels like I'm standing at the end of one path and the beginning of another. I could turn around and go back the way I came, back to the den and a life spent alone. I know that world. I've lived in it for so many years. But I can't just go back. Not now. Not when there could be something more. Something new. Everything could be different if I just let it. When I look at Aspen and Juliet, I can know what they're hoping I will say.
I think I'd like that.
Big smiles stick over both their faces. Slowly, I let myself smile too.
Well then, Miho. Welcome home.
Chapter 2. A Life Worth Living. For the second day in a row, I woke up in a soft bed. My bed. It's early. The library downstairs is silent. No one else is here aside from Juliet. I didn't even transform before falling asleep last night. Just passed out like this, with human arms and legs. No wonder I'm sore. After I agreed to Juliet's offer, the rest of the day passed by quickly. Aspen and Juliet showed me around the house part of the library, and Juliet made dinner for the three of us. Aspen didn't leave until the evening, and I decided to go to bed early. After the whirlwind of emotions I went through yesterday, I was exhausted and fell asleep as soon as my head hit the pillow. Not having to be on alert the moment I open my eyes is a nice change. I can toss and turn, even doze a little bit longer. I get as much rest as my body will let me. Once I've had my fill of being lazy, I finally crawl out of bed.
Okay, time to get up.
It doesn't take me long to get ready. I tiptoe to the door, out of habit, so carefully that only someone with super keen hearing would be able to hear me. But then I remember.
Oh yeah, I don't need to sneak around while I'm here.
I loosen up and step out into the hallway. God damn it, phone. I'm back. I loosen up and step out into the hallway, shutting the door behind me. Being so openly noisy is almost harder than being sneaky. The building is still quiet. Juliet told me to come find her when I awake. So I make my way down the hallway towards the room she showed me yesterday. It's one of the last in the hall, tucked away in the corner. Unlike the other doors, a tiny bit of flickering light escapes from the gap below.
This is the place.
I'm out of breath. as I ran up the stairs. Now that I'm standing here, my nerves start to get the better of me. What if she's forgotten me this time and chases me away? Or what if I screw my eyes shut and take a deep breath, forcing away my worries? If I'm going to stay here for a while, I need to stop thinking like that. I can't let that fear keep getting the better of me. Forcing myself on, I twist the doorknob and enter. Wait, should have knocked, shouldn't I? Too late now! As I step into the room, only to be struck by how dark it is. With no windows, the only light is from a dim lamp, illuminating the white clothed figure sitting at her desk, just like the library downstairs. There are rows and rows of books covering the shelves around the room. Juliet looks up to greet me, a gentle smile written on her face.
Oh, good morning, Miho. Did you sleep well?
You remembered me! I didn't relief well, I think.
I sure did. I think that might have been the best sleep I ever had.
I'm most glad to hear it. Would you like to sit down?
Oh, sure. Thanks.
There's only one other seat, so I awkwardly sit down across from her. Feels a little bit like an interrogation.
Would you like some tea?
I've never had tea, so I don't know if I like it or not. I feel like I should accept her offer out of politeness, though.
Sure.
Juliet pulls out a teacup from a shelf nearby and sets it on a little plate. Then she carefully pours in the tea without spilling a single drop. She pushes the plate with the cup over to me.
Sugar?
I've eaten enough human snacks to know how much I like that.
Yes, please.
Takes the lid off a little pot on opposite to me. It's full of little white cubes. Without hesitating, I take two, toss them into my mouth. They're kind of crunchy at first, but quickly fall apart. Juliet frowns just a little. Not that a human probably wouldn't notice, but I do. But did I do something wrong? Wait, I know.
Oh, thank you.
That just gets her to smile. I'm pretty sure I did the right thing. She sets the pot and it retreats back down her desk. Sorry. She sets the pot of treats back down under her desk. Mmm! 2 cubes of sugar in my mouth.
We'll have breakfast in a little while. Aspen usually comes by to help open the library, and then we eat together.
Miho, I love you. I love Miho so much.
That sounds nice. Does she help out because of the sunlight?
My, that's astute of you. You're correct. Although I'm able to tolerate a bit of sun, I do prefer the dark. I wasn't sure if you knew I was a vampire or not.
I figured it out just now. That explains how you were able to hear me and find my den, huh?
Indeed. That said, I have my dear friend Orpheus to thank for helping me know where to find you.
Something scratched in the corner of the room. Something scratches in the corner of the room, and I look up to notice a large bat dangling from a hook on one of the shelves. Has that been there this entire time?
Is he also?
No, Orpheus is a bat through and through, not a vampire. He happened to notice you on his way home one day.
So that's the friend you were talking about. I was wondering about that.
I have the pleasure of knowing several of Wellington's loco bats. They keep me apprised of news from around the city.
That's nice.
You're not, like, you know.
I tapped one of my front teeth, not sure how to ask the question politely.
Oh, heavens no. I consume as little blood as one of my kind can, and what I do partake of is freely donated.
Oh, that's nice.
I love this city and its people. I'd never had them like that. Besides, I had quite enough of that during my time in the underworld. Is that where you come from as well?
A fox from the forest.
Oh, I'm not from the underworld. I'm from Korea.
Yep.
I've heard lots about it, though. I'm one of the only fabled I know of who doesn't come from there.
Weird.
For a long time, I didn't even know that other fabled existed.
Fox a fable.
Indeed. Gumio like yourself are some of the few I know of.
Wait, Gumiho? Is that what I'm called? That explains a lot.
What?
You didn't know, but you go by the name Miho.
Just because I like the sound, I thought it was more like a nickname.
Oh.
I change it up wherever I go. Gumi, Homie, Migu. I've never had a real name.
Weird.
I didn't even know I had a kind. I've never met someone else like me. I wonder if we'd have much in common.
Have other foxes, well, Gumiho, lived the same kind of life I have? Maybe they're better at fitting in with people than I am, and that's why I've never seen one.
Are there any other Gumio in Wellington?
None that I know of. It's possible, though.
Fun. Maybe it's that one cafe member with really weird ears. That might just be hair, though.
I'm not sure what I'd say if I did meet one.
What's a Gumiho? Want to elaborate? I know there's something on it. I wondered about others like me before, but since I've never met one, I eventually assumed they didn't exist. Funny that they do, and that there's even a name for us comes as a pretty big surprise. No matter how long I've been alive, there's still so much that I don't know about the world. As our discussion tapers off, the sound of the front door reaches my ears from downstairs. Juliet must have heard it too, looking over as I do.
Oh, that'll be Aspen. Shall we go down to breakfast?
I'll never say no to that.
Breakfast. Juliet takes to her feet, picking up the lamp and carries it with her. Orpheus, the bat, leaves the study when we do. Well, he flies off in a different direction. I guess he won't be joining us for the meal. I have to be careful not to spill my cup of tea as we walk down the stairs. Aspen waits at the bottom, a large book tucked under her arm. She waves with her free hand to greet us.
Good morning, Aspen. It's nice to see you again.
Good morning, Juliet. And you too, Miho. I must admit, I was a little worried you might run off during the night.
I may have thought about it a little. After I went to bed, though, I was out like a light.
Glad you decided otherwise, then. Living in the library sounds like heaven. I can't believe you'd think about giving that up. Anyway, I'm opening today, so I can't stay too late. I'll go ahead and take care of the windows.
I'll get started on breakfast then.
I think I'm feeling like strawberry today. Oh, or some of that orange marmalade, if there's any left. You have to let Miho try that too.
I'll see if we have it. Is that a nonce you have with you? You can just leave him on the desk for now.
It sure is. I'll be taking Jacques on the way out.
I'll write it down.
Books. The group of them stroll off in different directions while I stand on the stairs, unable to follow any of the conversation.
Who's Jax? Anonsei? I don't see anyone with you.
This is a nonce.
She taps the cover of the book she brought with her.
He's the author of this. Juliet suggested I read some of his work, but I'm finding him rather dull.
Huh.
I try my best to sound interested, but I doubt it's successful. Maybe I'd see the appeal if I could read them, but how can they be so... How could they be better than doing things yourself? After setting the book down on the front desk, Aspen goes into the main room, leaving me alone in the hallway. I make my way down the rest of the steps. Looking down at my teacup, I decide to take a tiny sip. I'm getting tired of carrying it around. Yuck. Kind of bitter, but also bland at the same time. Frowning, I set the cup down on one of the shelves nearby. At least I tried it. The sugar was way better, though. The door Aspen went through is still open, and I hear her bustling around the room where Juliet went. Isn't far away either, and I can already smell food. Guess I'll go watch. Who do I want to watch? Let's go to Aspen. Aspen's in the book room by now, and I wander through the door. Open. She steps from window to window, pushing them open and pulling the curtains back. With each one, another sunbeam pours in the room. Pours in, and the room gets a little bit brighter.
Oh, hey Miho. How was your first night here?
Great! After you left, I went to bed early. And then...
You sure do love to sleep. Color me even more jealous. I'm working opening shifts most of this week, so I have to be up early every day.
Or else... what?
She stops and gives me a frustratingly familiar look. The look that means I've said something weird.
Or else I get reprimanded for being late. Duh. Not to be rude, but, have you never had a job?
Nope. I haven't done most human things, if you can't tell.
Oh, I certainly can tell. Your life must be fascinating. Someday I'd like to hear about all you've seen and done.
That's a lot of things to talk about.
I'm really not that interesting. My life is just wandering around for the most part. I try to avoid doing stuff as much as I can.
Woo!
I know plenty of people who would kill for a lifestyle like that, you know.
After pushing open the last window, Aspen starts to drift around the room, moving chairs and furniture into their spots.
Anyway, I come here most mornings just to have breakfast and chat with Juliet, even if I'm not opening.
Oh, that's nice.
Is there not any food where you live?
There usually is, but I enjoy the company as much as the food. Speaking of which, Juliet should be about done by now. Let's join her, shall we?
I follow behind Aspen as she walks on, adjusting and rotating a few more out-of-place items on the way. By the time we reach the kitchen, there's a big pile of buttered toast and different spreads waiting for us at the table. As we walk up to her, Juliet setting down a plate of sliced fruit and another of the fried eggs beside her.
You two are right on time. I was just about to call for you.
I have a sixth sense for it, apparently.
We all sit down and dig in. Food, of course, is delicious.
So, Miho, how will you be spending your first day as an official Wellington resident?
I don't know yet. Hadn't really thought about it. Now that you mention it, I'll have a lot more free time now, huh? Usually I'd go hunting for food, or looking for a better place to stay, or...
Instinctively, I go silent as I reach for my pocket in the familiar crumpling paper.
Oh.
If it's something you don't want to share, don't feel that you must.
Right, that too.
I hesitate. I'm not sure if I've ever told anyone about my goal, or at least not the specifics. I've had a lot of first times lately, though I've had a lot of first times though. What's one more? Besides, it's maybe the two of them can help.
No, it's okay. I've been looking for someone.
I wipe my hands first, making sure they don't have any crumbs or grease on them. Then I carefully slide the thin scroll from my pocket. I always keep it in the deepest part, where it won't get wet or damaged. With great care, I gently unroll it, letting the two women see the ink. Ink markings brushed onto the scroll. The edges are fuzzy age right now, but the text is still legible. I think anyway.
They gave me this a long time ago. I don't know what it says.
Hello, Decker. Where the Foxgirl?
Korean.
The Foxgirl is right here. It is the lovely
I'm not able
Miho.
to read either one, unfortunately.
It's probably Korean, let's be honest. It's Miho right here. This is the single Foxgirl. I didn't say the Foxgirl, I said Foxgirl. Singular, Decker. It's Foxgirl Miho. The lovable Miho. We love her. Look at her. She's a bean. Oop.
They remind me of older Chinese characters, but I can't be certain myself. Sorry, but I'm not too familiar with them either.
Yes, but you said gals, plural, Decker. You said plural. It's a singular gal. SMH my head. They look a little defeated, but I quickly wave off their concern.
It's okay. Nobody I've asked could read it either. For all I know, they might just be scribbles. I thought that maybe if I knew what it said, it would help me find them.
Who exactly are they?
They're a traveler. I learned that word just to be able to describe them.
That's not very scripted,
They were
Miho.
the first human I ever met, and they told me stories about the rest of the world.
And you've been searching for them ever since then?
Yup. For as long as I can remember. I met them back in Korea, when I was a fox. I couldn't understand what they were saying. Not until much later.
Reminiscing about them gives me a very peculiar feeling. It's warm and fuzzy, but also a little sad. I think people call it nostalgia. My voice is a little quieter as I finish what I mean to say.
But that never stopped them from coming to see me. I don't know their name or even where they're from, but I'll definitely recognize them when I see them again.
Both the women before me are quiet for a moment, visibly thinking over what I've said. After a long while, it's Juliet who speaks first.
In that case, I'd be happy to assist in any way I can.
Me too, of course. Speaking of which, I may have found something useful to you. I was doing a little bit of research on Gumiho last night. There was surprisingly little to be found compared to some of the other fabled.
Wait a sec. You found out that I'm a Gumio too?
Well, yes. It wasn't too difficult to look up. Is that odd?
So, in less than a day, both Aspen and Juliet were able to find out something about myself that I couldn't in a lifetime?
I guess not.
I only realize how I sound after I have said it. Juliet shoots a look at Aspen, who quickly tries to move the discussion along.
Anyway, I was trying to find out why Juliet and I can remember you when nobody else can. Although I didn't find anything about memories in particular, there was one story that claimed a Gumiho's curse doesn't take effect until a full day later.
Oh, of course. And since you and I both saw Miho again before too much time passed, we didn't forget her.
Right, that also makes sense from what you told us yesterday, Miho, doesn't it? You said you don't tend to talk to people a second time.
Yeah, I usually try to avoid it, really.
I haven't thought of my magic as a curse before. But I guess to the person it's affecting, it is.
So that means that all we have to do to avoid forgetting about Miho is...
It's important to miss the pause. It's impossible to miss the pause. Before Aspen's words, like even she is not confident in what she's about to say.
see her every day. Forever.
Forever. That word hangs in the air. Aspen says it cheerfully, but I can recognize just how impossible that is. At some point, even these two will forget me. Won't they? Why even try then? Why bother? If I know I'll just hurt in the end. On cue, those kinds of thoughts start to swirl in my head, like always. So tempting to just stop caring and give up on others. No. I won't let myself dwell on that. Not on my first day living here. Who knows? Even if it's a long time from now, maybe these thoughts will go away for good. Juliet clears her throat before the silence goes on for too long.
Well, that's not bad at all. Preserving the memory of those you hold dear is one of the most important parts of life.
Aspen considers for a moment, before nodding.
It really is.
It seems a little early for either of them to consider me dear to them. But I keep that to myself.
So, anyway, about Jax.
For a relief, Aspen changes the subject away from me and my magic. As Juliet and Aspen chat between themselves, the conversation drifts onto things I don't know about. People and places I don't recognize. It's not probably related to the books. I smile and laugh when they do, but I'm not really paying attention or talking. Listen to the two of them. They may as well be speaking to a different language. The more I observe, the more it seems I'll have to learn. Not just about normal people and human life, but about myself as well, and even the world. In one day, both Aspen and Juliet. In one day, both Aspen and Juliet. What? In one day, both Aspen and Juliet Both Aspen and Juliet were able to figure out what I am and how my beads work. It had a long time to do that, and still had no idea. It doesn't even seem like it was hard for them. It's something I have to admit to myself. I haven't really tried before. Just what have I been missing out on? I feel something bubbling up inside me. Same thing as yesterday when I decided to come back and listen into the library instead of running away. Something that makes me clench my fists and take a deep breath as I make another decision. Something that I realize I can put my name on. And something that I realize I can put a name to, even though it's a new one to me. It's what people call hope. Even if it's pointless in the end.
I want to learn how to be a person.
Juliet cuts off whatever she was saying mid-sentence. Both she and Aspen turned to face me, eyes wide. Oops! I guess I should have started by waiting for them to stop talking.
You want to. What?
I've already messed this up, but I keep going.
Be a person. To know about the things you two are talking about. All the stuff that you give me a weird look for when I don't know. I want to learn about it.
I'd say that you're already well on your way.
Her tone becomes quite serious as she continues. I'm a little glad. She sees as much weight behind this as I feel about it.
Miho, there are some things that you can't rush or change overnight. This is definitely one of them. That said, starting can be the hardest part. You've already taken the first steps.
What Juliet said. I'm sorry, too. I didn't mean to keep you out of our conversation.
No, it's okay. I was busy thinking anyway. I can't stop looking for my person, of course, but maybe I can do more than that too.
We'll help you in any ways that we can.
Aspen nods in agreement, but then checks the time and sighs.
It'll have to wait until later, though, because I need to be leaving for work. I'm sure Juliet needs her rest, too.
Thanks. I am rather tired. Will you be alright on your own for the day, Miho?
Yeah, I should be. I'll figure out something to do.
Wonderful. Here, let me take those.
Oh, the plates. She gets up and collects the dirty plates, then carries them to the sink. Imagine.
Tomorrow I have to go in earlier than usual to open.
No!
If you come by, I can make you that drink again, Miho. As long as you promise not to run away, that is.
Sure, don't worry. I'm not going anywhere this time. Although, will it still be at home?
What? Oh.
At home?
Oh, on the house.
Like, free?
No.
Oh, on the house! Yes, of course. This should probably be the last time, though, or my boss will start getting upset.
Okay.
Aw, okay. It was nice while it lasted.
Aspen pauses as she rises from the table and starts to leave.
You know, getting a job might be a good idea if you're serious about living a normal life. It's hardly the most fun, but then you could buy as many fairy kiss chillers as you want.
Woo!
A job? Sounds like a pain.
It is. Aspen just sighs and sink into my seat. The way she talks about having a job makes it sound awful.
Well, it's just a suggestion. See you later, Juliet. Miho.
With that, she takes her leave as Juliet and I wave her off. After the distant sound of Juliet shutting her bedroom door, the whole library is silent. Leave me alone with my thoughts in the kitchen. The front doors are unlocked and open to everyone, so it's just a matter of time until the first guests arrive.
Well, what do I do now?
I don't know, fam. What do you do, Miho? The empty room doesn't have an answer. Right about now, I'd usually be scrounging for breakfast or scoping out new places. Or maybe I'm planning where I'll spend the night. But with a full belly and a bed to come back to, I don't have to worry about any of that. Instead, I have a lot of free time on my hands.
Guess I'll explore.
Yes, I'll explore. That's how I've been spending a lot of my time recently anyway. You know, Juliet and Aspen seem fine so far. It's still a little tiring to be around other people so much. Having some alone time is important too. Making my way into town, I try to pay more attention to what people are doing instead of searching for opportunities. I meant what I said about wanting to be more of a person, but small steps are easier for me. And if there's one thing I'm good at, it's observing. Of course, I'll also be keeping an eye out for anything that can help me find my person. But I have to admit that I don't have much of a plan for that. Usually when I go to a new country or city, I'll try to find someone who might know them, or who recognizes my school. I usually prefer asking other fabled. They're easier to deal with than people. It's not a very efficient plan, if I'm being honest. I'll have to get ready. I'll have to get really lucky for it to work, but I haven't come up with any better ideas, and I have plenty of time to try. Now that Aspen and Juliet have offered to help, maybe they'll be able to think of something new. For now, I'm just killing time. At first, it's not so bad. I take my time passing through the city and even pop into some stores along the way. One is full of musical instruments, while right next door is a store selling kitchen utensils. Across the street, there's another place with racks full of used clothes. I step into each store and place around the aisles, just browsing. Usually I never come into these kinds of shops. Even though they have some expensive stuff, it's all bulky and hard to carry. Plus, I've learned the hard way that some pawn shops and buyers are good at guessing what something's worth, when something's stolen. Now that I'm paying more attention for what's for sale, I realize that I don't even know what a lot of this stuff is. In the kitchen store, there's normal pots and pans and dishes, which makes sense. But there's also a bunch of different gadgets with all kinds of shapes and sizes. I can't even guess what you'd use some of them for. At the music store, I recognize a few instruments like guitars and pianos and drums. There are also a bunch that I've seen before but don't know the names of. Mostly the kinds you play with your mouth. Then there are some that I've never seen or can't even be sure are actually instruments. And not some other kind of device. I seem to be the only one having this problem. In both stores, the other customers have seen all walk around like they know what they're doing. Or at least they're looking for something in particular. I try to listen in on a conversation that someone's having with a salesperson, but it's just like listening to Aspen and Juliet talk. I don't recognize half the words. In the end, I didn't spend long in either store.
This is already harder than I thought.
Nearby, there's a clock outside the store, and it informs me that it's only been an hour or so since I left the library. It's still a long time before Juliet will be up. Guess I'll be looking around. A second, I fix my ring. Being annoying. Although I'm not expecting much, I continue to browse through most of the stores I pass just for something to do. I think about going by the bell house and saying hello to Aspen, but when I get there, there's a line out the door and around the building. Peeking through the window, I don't even see her. Instead, someone else is taking orders at the counter. I don't feel like waiting, so I keep walking instead. I end up walking for as long as I can stand it. Past the seaport and beach, past my Victoria, back towards town yet again, then it eventually goes. Whenever it gets too boring, even for me, I head back to the library. much busier now than when I left it. There's a pile of books on the desk that people have brought back, and the checkout shelf is half full. Some of the chairs are occupied, and at least a dozen people are browsing the shelves. None of them pay me any mind. Even when I grab a snack from the kitchen, then head out. Even when I grab a snack from the kitchen and then head up to my room. In there, I do the only thing there is to do. Flop onto my bed and look up at the ceiling. Don't get me wrong, I'm glad I have a bed to do that in, but this is so much right now.
So I can be bored outside or bored inside?
In my normal life, I'm usually too busy to be bored. Having time to rest and relax can be a luxury. Now that I got more time when I know what to do with. Now that I got more time than I know what to do with, I haven't even realized this would be a problem.
Guess all I can do is wait for Juliet.
Hopefully she'll have some time for ideas, sorry. I get the feeling she could give me advice on something.
May as well get comfy.
Yawning, I get under the covers and then transform into a fox. With a soft pillow under my head, and a cozy blanket above me. It's a lot like being in a very comfortable den. After all the walking I did, a nap does sound pretty nice. If I'm lucky, I won't wake up until Juliet does. Wrapping my tail around my face, I close my eyes and eventually drift off to sleep. It's almost dark out when I finally open my eyes, just like this morning. It takes a second for me to remember where I am. I burrow my way out of the blanket and then retake my human form, rubbing the sleepiness from my eyes.
That nap worked better than I expected.
Hopefully Juliet will be awake by now. If she isn't, I don't know what I'll do. There's no way I'm falling back asleep out anytime soon. Unlike this morning, when I pass by Juliet's office, there's no light from under the door. I do catch the sound of something going on in the kitchen. So I make my way downstairs. In the kitchen, I'm treated to quite the sight.
Good evening, Miho. I'll be with you in just a moment.
It's not just Juliet in the kitchen, but there are 3 bats as well. One clinging to the back of the chair Aspen sat in this morning, and another is on top of the fridge. The third is perched on Juliet's shoulder, and I think it's the same one that was in her office this morning. Juliet's holding a small bag and handing out the contents to the different bats. On a closer inspection, I realized that they're bugs. All the bats devour them greedily, including the one nibbling by Juliet's ear. She doesn't seem too bothered and hands them each another treat.
All right, here are the last ones.
The bats on the chair and the fridge finish their snacks, and they fly over my head and out the kitchen. Their wings nearly clip me in the face, and the gusts they create blow my hair around. The last bat stays on Juliet's shoulder even after it's finished eating. And then Juliet picks up a small envelope from the counter and ties it to one of the bat's legs.
Thank you, Orpheus. We'll see you soon.
Launching himself off of Juliet's shoulder, Orpheus takes flight and exits through one of the library windows. Even though he was much bigger than the other bats, it didn't look like Juliet was fazed by being used as a launch pad.
My apologies, Miho.
I can't read.
You caught me just at dinner time for the bats.
It's okay. I just woke up.
Oh? I take it you had a busy day then?
Well, not really. Just walked around for a while and then took a nap because didn't know what else to do.
I see. I'm sorry to have left you on your own all day. I should have made sure you were taken care of before I went to sleep.
She sure does apologize a lot. Is that what it means to be polite? Makes me kind of uncomfortable. It's not like she did anything wrong.
What are some of your hobbies? There are all manner of things tucked away in this room, all that throughout the library.
Hobbies? I don't think I know that word.
Something you do for fun, just because you enjoy it.
Oh!
I have none.
I don't really have anything like that.
Although she raises her eyebrow, Juliet just nods. I'm guessing that wasn't an answer she was expecting.
I think I understand. Well, perhaps that should be our first order of business. I believe you'd find your life much enriched with something amusing to do.
Okay. Like what?
She ponders for a moment, tapping the countertop beside her.
It could be anything. A sport, an art, or even something like watching television. Whatever brings you joy.
Pretty sure I've never tried any of those.
Then, it seems we have plenty of options to start with. I know you've done a lot of walking today already, but I need to go into town to run some errands. Would you be interested in accompanying me? Maybe we'll see something along the way that strikes your fancy.
Sure. Fine by me. Not like I've got anything better to do.
With a smile, Juliet gathers up some more papers and envelopes from the table and tucks them under her arm.
Let's be off then.
We're going off then. Leaving the library unlocked, we set off down the familiar path. Juliet maintains a brisk pace, but isn't too fast. I like this a lot more than going slowly.
So, Miho, how are you enjoying Wellington itself so far?
I like it. It's not too big and it's not too small. Like that there's the ocean and mountains close by.
Yes, we're truly fortunate to live in such a paradise.
How'd you end up here in the first place? You said you came from the underworld, right?
That's correct. Ugh, I was much wilder and irresponsible in those days.
Fancy.
But then, I met someone who changed my life. Someone who made me want to be a better person. Part of that meant reinventing myself, with a new life in a new place. Rather like what you've been doing too.
Huh. I can't picture you being crazy like you said.
That's something of a relief, but it was certainly true at the time. Sometimes, it does feel as if I was an entirely different person back then. It can be difficult to reconcile who we were with who we are, or want to be.
Doesn't seem like you had too much trouble with it.
I wouldn't say that. For one, this was very long ago. And even now, I continue to change. Everyone does. Perhaps in a few hundred years, I'll look back on these days, and they'll also...
Maybe.
Oops. Not that I think Juliet's lying, but it's on my keyboard. I hit my mic by accident. It went flying. Shit. Not that I think Juliet's lying, but it seems to me like she's just being modest. I may not have known her for long, but if anything, she seems a little too perfect. It isn't too late in the evening yet. So there are plenty of other people out and about too. Occasionally someone will recognize and greet Juliet, and she always gives them a friendly greeting in return. After walking in silence for a couple of minutes, I clear my throat.
I've got a question.
What is it?
do you always walk places?
As opposed to?
Flying?
Flying. Can't you turn into a bat?
Oh, yes. I suppose I can. I do so only sparingly, though. I find that I appreciate life more as a human than as a bat.
Why? That's weird. Like being a fox a lot more. Being a human just feels clumsy. Your arms and legs are way too long and get in the way all the time.
I suppose that's true. It can be quite awkward at times. Or even embarrassing.
Yeah, exactly! I've never been embarrassed as a fox.
I understand. There are certainly downsides. I believe the good makes up for the bad, though. Some things are only possible as a human, or fabled.
Like what? I can't think of any, other than talking like this.
Like writing, for one thing, as our dear friend Aspen would surely mention. Or perhaps like dancing. Have you ever danced, Miho?
Dance? What is dance?
Nope, never. I don't get why people do it either. Don't tell me you like dancing. Is that your hobby?
I must confess that I do enjoy it. At times, that is. I wouldn't call it a hobby. But with the right person, at the right moment, it can be quite nice.
If you say so.
I find myself saying that a lot lately. Shaking and flocking my body around to music? It's not for me. I don't even know how they come up with this stuff. But I'm trying to remember to be polite. So I keep that part to myself.
So, on that note, I should have asked this earlier. Are there any hobbies that you have as Fox?
I never thought about it that way. But now that you mention it, almost everything is better as a fox. The sun feels nicer on my fur than it does on my skin. Flowers smell better and more interesting when I sniff them. It's more vivid.
I remember Aspen using that word and explaining what it means. I bet she'd be proud if she heard me use it.
You do make it sound lovely. But are those things you do for fun?
Well...
I almost said yes right away. But then I think about it for a second. I do love those things I mentioned, but maybe they don't fit what Juliet is asking.
I guess not. They feel good, but they're not fun.
That's still valuable too.
So far, we've been following the same path that I took earlier when I went into town. When we come to a crossroad, Juliet turns in the direction of a neighborhood, instead of the city.
The first stop I need to make is down here. After that, we'll go look around and see if there's anything fun.
Alright, I'm just following you.
This isn't the same neighborhood where I hid from Juliet a couple minutes ago. Although it's pretty similar, some of these houses are the sort that reminded me of Bugs when I first arrived in Wellington. We stop at one of them, a little one-story house. With the porch light on, I follow Juliet to the front door and she rings the doorbell.
Is this for one of your errands?
Yes, we're delivering those papers that were requested.
She straightens out the two yellow packets she was carrying. The door opens and a young woman carrying a baby stands behind it.
Oh, Miss Juliet! So good to see you.
With one of her trademark smiles, Juliet hands over the papers and the two chat for a bit. I lean against the wall, not involved or listening. When talking to the lady, Juliet uses the same warm tone and softness when she's talking to me in Aspen. In fact, if I close my eyes, I could almost pretend that I'm back at the breakfast table with both of them, listening to them go on about books. Eventually, the woman takes the folder, and after saying goodbye several times, we leave. As soon as we're off for property, I turn to Juliet.
What was that all about?
I suppose you could call it another one of my hobbies. Sometimes, patrons have requests for information on their ancestors, or a piece of history that they'd like to learn about. For example, Mrs. Aliyu wanted to know about her husband's culture so she could teach her new child.
Ooh!
I
Lovely.
find and collect what's requested, and bring it to those who asked.
Whoa! Sounds like a lot of work.
It can be, but I don't mind it. The past is worth preserving, but not everyone knows how. It's my honor to help people do so. I have assistants too, such as dear Orpheus, who is delivering a letter on the far side of town for me.
Huh?
Are all the bats your helpers?
Some more than others. They're friends, not pets. And so if they don't feel like helping, then I won't force them.
To me, it sounds like a lot of trouble to go through for someone else. Even with the bats helping out, but Juliet apparently likes being inconvenienced. It's the same as letting me staying in her library. I can't read. Still, that sounds like it could be really helpful in my own search for the traveler. As Juliet leads us to our next destination, we leave the residential area and go back towards the city. I try to keep my eyes peeled for anything interesting. There are plenty of people sitting out on a table having a meal, or walking around the shops, but nothing out of the ordinary. Sorry, I just yawned. In fact, it's not that much different from when I was here earlier. There are more fabled and fewer humans, but there are still plenty of those too. Some of the places I passed by are closed now, but some, like the music store, are still open. When we come to a... Oh, sorry, my finger was... my right index finger was twitching. It was really weird. It felt bizarre. When we come to a big building with a lot of posters on the walls outside, we stop.
This is one of our movie theaters. They show all the most popular films, as well as independent ones from local creators. Have you ever been to see a movie before?
Not in a place like this. I know what movies are, but I don't think I've ever watched one.
You should try it sometime. Maybe you'll find you like them.
I need money for that, though. Juliet, I'm broke.
Movies
Remember?
can make you feel all kinds of different things. Happy, sad, scared, or just amused.
I haven't the coin to do this.
Some are good for making you think, and some are good because you don't have to think about anything and can just relax.
Why would I want to watch something that makes me sad or scares me?
For some, it's fun to explore different emotions in a safe environment like that.
Interesting.
When we see something that makes us feel strongly, it can stick with you. Perhaps cause you to view things in a different light. And if it ever becomes too much, you can simply stop watching or put on something else.
That makes sense.
I'll try it sometime. Although, I don't know about the sad or scary ones.
There's nothing wrong with that. Everyone has different preferences.
Along the way, Juliet continues to point out different shops and locations she thinks I should know about, like another library or a museum. I'm not very interested in either of those things, but I smile and nod and pretend I like them, like I am. After a while, we leave the city behind and reach the waterfront, just like I usually do. The ocean looks much different at night. The starlight and the moonlight reflecting off the water. Far out at sea, there are a few lights that come from the boats, and sometimes lights in the sky that pass from passing airships. We head down a small path to the boardwalk, where we look out onto the water. There are a few empty buckets sitting on the ground nearby, as well as some folded chairs. I point them out.
What are those for?
Fishing.
People like to fish off at this pier. They come at all hours, but I believe this spot is used for teaching lessons during the day.
Ooh, lessons on how to catch fish?
Not with your mouth.
That's correct. Is that something you're interested in?
Not with your mouth.
Maybe.
Not with your mouth.
It's one of those things that I like doing as a fox, but I don't know if I'd like doing it the human way.
Yeah, it's very slow.
Should you decide you'd like to try, I'm sure there would be someone here who's happy to instruct you.
The guy I don't remember the name of.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't want to commit to anything, but it couldn't hurt to come check this place out during the day.
I'm glad you found something that struck your fancy. Is there anywhere else you'd like to visit while we're out? Or should we return home?
Nah, I'm ready to head back. Is there anything for dinner?
What is for dinner?
I'm sure we can put something together.
Then let's go.
Let's go. Food, dinner time. Since I actually know where we are now, I lead the way home. With Juliet close behind me. It's another chilly morning. It's another chilly morning in Wellington. I'm outside the Bell House, waiting for Aspen.
People are gonna think I'm staking this place out. And for once, that isn't true.
It's after breakfast, but before the sun's up. Huh? How does that work? Aspen invites me for a free drink before they open. But I'm starting to think I've been duped.
Anytime now.
I rub my arms and bounce around to try to stay warm. Right as I'm thinking about picking the lock myself, the front door swings open, and Aspen waves me inside.
So anyway, like I was saying, my uncle taught me this trick to make it taste better. You put a little bit of salt in the coffee and it brings out the flavor, right? Not too much. You don't want to make it salty, but just a little bit.
Sorry about that. I got a little held up.
I was thinking maybe you forgot about me after all.
No, you're not rid of me that easily. I was just...
I tried it and it's really good. Have you tried it? Remind me, I'll make you one. So then I was thinking, if I start doing that every time I make a drink, eventually people will start realizing that their coffee's better when I make it, but they won't know why.
Talking to Lena.
Hi, Lena.
That can always take longer than you expect or plan for. But she and I often look the other way for each other on certain things.
I see. Like this thing.
Such as letting you in before the store opens, for instance.
I see.
Oh, am I not supposed to be here? That's cool.
As long as we open on time, it's fine, and Lena and I are the two fastest. You kind of have to be when she's involved.
Lol.
What do you mean?
Lol.
I'm sure you'll see. Come on, what do you want today?
I inspect the menu. It's as unhelpful as ever. I can't read shit.
Here's a paper copy, if that's easier to read.
Maybe. She hands me a little printout menu. It's also distinctly lacking pictures.
Sorry, can't read it.
Oh, do you need a Korean version? I'm afraid we don't have one.
I can't read shit.
Oh, nah. Can't read any languages.
I may as well have told her that the sky is green. Aspen stares at me in clear disbelief. This isn't the usual word look, this is beyond that. She laughs nervously.
You're joking, right?
No. I shake my head. She collapses onto the stool behind her, fanning her face with the menu in her hand.
I can't believe it. I just can't. So you haven't. Wow.
I can tell she really wants to say more, but holds herself back.
I suppose that explains a lot. Still, I just can't imagine.
It takes a moment, but she regains her composure.
Anyway, if you want to try something new, then how about our ambrosia latte? It's one of our seasonal beverages with apple and caramel.
That sounds tasty, actually. What the fuck?
Apples and coffee? I've never had that before.
Yes, well, we're experimenting with the recipe still.
I said that we should try adding more cinnamon to it.
Hi, Lena. I don't know where Lena comes from, but suddenly she's just here.
Aspen said it would overwhelm the other flavors, but I add extra whenever I make one, and so far no one's complained.
No one's complained. No one's complained.
Lena, are you serious?
I guess so.
Well, yeah. How else are we gonna find out which one's better? I'll make one for your friend too, and she can tell us which one she likes more.
Lena?
The girl hurries back to the kitchen, clearly not caring about what Aspen was about to say. Aspen sighs and shakes her head.
Right, well, I have to open the registers and put on the coffee. I'll have your drink in a couple minutes.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
I hop up on one of the tall stools and wait, swinging my legs back and forth. Before long, the cafe fills with the smell of warm coffee and baking bread. It's enough to make my mouth water, even though it hasn't been long since I last ate. After Rome is behind the kitchen, in the front area, always looking very busy. She checks and inspects what seems like every drawer and cabinet in the place while getting ready. Nina's busy too, mopping and setting up chairs. At some point, she puts earbuds in, and the music is loud enough for me to hear it from across the building. After a while, Aspen returns to my table, along with a steaming paper cup.
Here you go. One ambrosia latte.
I put the lid off so I could take a peek at the drink itself. It smells light and fruity. A swirl of caramel syrup is melting into the coffee and whipped cream.
Looks good. Hopefully it tastes good too.
I have a teeny sip. I have a teeny little sip. It's too hot to drink very fast. The tartness of the apple actually goes pretty well with the coffee flavor.
It's a little sour, but it's not bad. Not as good as a fairy kiss chiller, though.
Well, I can't complain about that.
The chair squeaks against the floor as Aspen sits down across from me.
So, have you decided how you're going to spend your day?
No,
Not yet. What about you?
you're working.
There's still another 7.5 hours left on my shift, so I'll be here for quite a while.
Oh?
After work, I try to have a social life or get some writing done. Although lately I usually just collapse on the bed and take a nap.
I see.
Hey, me too! Without a bed, though.
What?
Yes, well, I'm sure frolicking through the flowers and chasing rabbits gets tiring.
Ooh. Are there rabbits around here?
Not for long, I imagine.
Rabbits!
Speaking of which, have you thought about what I said yesterday?
We're getting a
About
job.
Getting a job? It seems you have more than enough time on your hands.
Shit.
You do know what a job is, right?
Sure.
More or less. I mean, I've seen people at work before, but I've never had my own job before you ask.
Yes, I'm aware.
That's not what you said, but okay.
Anyway, you'd have money to buy things you want, and you wouldn't have to steal to get it.
What do I need money for, though? Juliet lets me sleep at her house, and she even gives me food.
I don't mean to sound rude or anything, but Juliet can't take care of you forever.
That's fair.
I know.
Right now, I'm still getting used to even living here. I haven't given my thoughts on what might happen later on.
I don't even know what kind of job I could get. Is there some place that would hire me to steal things?
No.
Not legally, no. But maybe you can find a way to use those skills. Maybe you could be a security guard somewhere, or a locksmith.
A locksmith.
Maybe.
A locksmith sounds more feasible. But all I know is how to pick locks, how to make locks, or how to.
What exactly is
I
your
don't know,
job
actually.
anyway?
Well, as you know, I'm a barista.
Mm-hmm.
That means I make coffee and tea and hot chocolate and whatever else our customers ask for.
If that's on the menu.
Some people rely on our products just to get through their day, so I consider it to be a very important job.
Yes. Those people that are what we call coffee addicts.
If we
And
were to close or go out of
concerning.
business, there would be a great many people who would be distraught over it.
Really?
Wow! And you're gonna do this for the rest of your life?
Shit.
Not for that long, I hope. It's not my passion by any means, but I don't mind it. It can be rather exhausting though, especially on busy days.
I can't say she's selling me on this whole job idea.
What is your passion?
Writing,
It's this.
literature. Like she was waiting for me to ask, Aspen dramatically pulls out a small notebook and puts it on the table. It's the one that I see her writing in all the time. I lean forward to look at it closer. Not very big, about the size of my hand. It's mostly purple in color. There's an intricate gold pattern around the border. It definitely looks fancy. I could probably get a lot of money for this at the right shop.
This is my writing notebook. One of them, at least. My passion is writing, bringing stories and characters to life, making people feel what I feel. There's nothing quite like it. So challenging, yet rewarding.
And I see.
It's both my favorite activity and also the most frustrating one. This notebook is full of story ideas, lines that I come up with, or other interesting details. One of the best parts of working here at the Bell House is that I get to meet so many interesting and inspiring people. For example, when you first came in, I wrote a brief note about you. I never imagined that just a few days later we'd be having this conversation.
Truly.
Trust me, I didn't either. What did you write about me?
For some reason, Aspen's face gets a little red.
I don't remember, just that I wrote something. It's in another notebook, not this one.
Surely not this one.
My dream is
Really?
that someday I'll be able to make a living from my writing.
Surely not in this notebook. Surely not. There's nothing embarrassing. Surely nothing embarrassing.
In fact, when I moved to Wellington
Really?
a couple of years ago, that was supposed to be the first step.
It wasn't.
It's been taking longer than I'd like so far.
That's truly the saddest part about being a writer. Truly.
Every morning when I wake up, I tell myself that I'm not going to sleep that night until I finish at least a chapter.
And you don't.
But then by the time I'm done with work, all I want to do is pass out. Of course, that just puts me further and further behind. I've really only myself to blame, I suppose, but life doesn't make it easy for me.
The Bruce is always right. Aspen just wants to treat Miho to coffee. Lena has plenty to say about that. What? What's that supposed to mean? Huh? Sighing, Aspen puts her notebook away once more while I sip my drink.
Saying it like that, I can't fault you for not wanting to get a job.
Truly.
I'm only here because I need some way to pay the bills. That's just the life of a starving artist for you.
Ah, a starving artist.
Did someone say job? Are you getting a job here? Is this an interview?
No. From out of nowhere, Lena appears with a cup in her hand.
No, Miho's just a friend. And were you eavesdropping on us?
It's not eavesdropping if you're in public.
It is.
You should learn to talk quieter if you don't want people to hear you. Like me.
Tell me you're joking.
About what?
Before Aspen can even answer, Lena turns to face me instead.
Anyway, that's too bad. We could definitely use the help.
Eh?
Hey, why not apply here if you're looking for work? I bet Aspen would put in a good word for you, right? I could do it too. It'd kind of be lying, I guess, since I don't know you that well, but you seem like an alright person. I mean,
Thanks,
if Aspen
Lena.
trusts you, you have to be okay, I think. I can go get you an application right now if you want. I printed out a whole stack of them yesterday. Actually, it's the second stack, because the first one jammed up the printer and...
Lena, I am begging you to please be normal.
What? Tell me why it's a bad idea. Do you not think... What's your name again?
Miho.
Miho!
Do you not think Miho could do it?
No, it's not that. I'm sure she'd do great. It's just...
Wait, that sounds fun. Would I get to work with you?
Yeah, we'd work together. Oh, you meant Aspen, didn't you? Yeah, she'd be there too.
Slapping her hand on the desk, Aspen stands up from the table.
It's certainly an idea. Perhaps one we should discuss later. Lena, you and I should be getting to work, don't you think?
Yes, to work.
Okay, boss.
Please just go unlock the door.
Okay.
Time for work. Smirking, Lena heads towards the door, the front of the store.
Feel free to hang out for a bit if you'd like, Miho. Although it's going to get busy soon, so I won't...
Oh, wait, I almost forgot.
Eh,
If you need something to do, come play tennis with me this afternoon.
eh.
Yes?
Tennis?
Yeah, you hit the ball back and forth over the net.
I know what it is. Is that your hobby?
For now, I like trying new things.
I'll think about it. I should try something new myself too.
I wasn't asking. Anyway, you said it yourself. You're totally coming. So, I'll see you there.
Sure.
Okay.
Okay. Can't help but feel I've been roped into something here. But sure, I should at least give it a shot. Maybe I'll return. Maybe it'll turn out. Maybe I'll turn out to like it more than I expected. I can't read.
Cool.
Cool. Bye. Nina starts to leave again, but then suddenly jumps back around to face me again.
Oh, right. There's one more thing.
Yes. How many more things does she have? I can practically feel aspiration as Lena runs back and slams the cup she was carrying onto the table in front of me.
Try this. Tell me which one you like more. The one I made or the one Aspen made.
Okay.
Okay. With an unnecessary loud sigh, Aspen goes to unlock the front door herself. I'm over halfway done with Aspen's drink, but I take another gulp, paying attention to the mix of flavors. I do the same with Lena's. Lena watches eagerly, fists clenched in excitement.
So, what you think? Come on, be honest.
I can't taste a single difference.
They're both good.
Sure, but which one's better?
Taking another sip of each, I try to detect anything that's different between them, but I can't. Fortunately, Aspen saves me. She looms behind Lena like a phantom.
Lena, don't you think maybe you should go check the croissants?
Nah, I already looked at them earlier. A couple of them were kind of schoolish, but I tried to massage them back into shape. Don't worry, I washed my hands first.
For once, Lena's the one cut off as Aspen jerks on her apron strings and flaps her wings to maintain her balance. What? Can't read that properly.
Why don't you go check on them again? Or maybe the muffins, if you haven't yet.
Fine. We all know Miho just didn't want to hurt your feelings anyway.
Aspen releases her, and Lena walks off to the back of the cafe like an embarrassed cat, pretending it was her idea all along. After she disappears into the kitchen, Aspen sighs out again.
I'm sorry about that.
It's fine. She seems nice.
That is certainly one way you could describe her.
But much.
What I was trying to say earlier is that you can stay here if you want, but I won't be able to chat. Our first customers will be here any minute now.
That's okay. I'll probably go back to the library once I finish my drinks.
All right, I'll see you later then. And don't feel obligated to finish both if you don't want to.
I'm gonna try. Bye!
Hi. Like Lena, Aspen also retreats behind the counter and starts filling the display case with pastries. I wonder if any of them are the croissants Lena was talking about. Sure enough, it isn't long before the first customers start to show up. Aspen takes their orders with that fake, nice voice that she uses when we first met. Already I've gotten more used to hearing her regular speaking voice instead. It's interesting to know that even normal humans like her still pretend to be other people sometimes. I wonder why she feels like she has to. So far, she's one of the nicest humans I've ever met. After I finish my first coffee, I toss the cup away, but hold on to the second. I'll drink it later, or something. I don't know. I can wait to leave the Bell House. Start making my way back to the library. I've had my fill of wandering around for at least a few days. If I'm going to be bored, I might as well do it while I'm comfy. Job or not, Aspen is definitely right about one thing. I really need to find something better to do with my time. Alright, what to do? I must say... Barista's always right? I've seen that already. Where to? Oh, I can only go to tennis. I can only go tennis. Come on, fine, I'll go tennis. I want to explore! See the world. After a few hours of sitting around at the library, I'm bored enough to take Lena up on her offer to play tennis. The only problem is, I forgot to ask her where and when. Sometime in the afternoon, I go down to the Bell House where an employee tells me where Aspen and Lena have left for the day. They give me directions to a place called Tai Park, which is where they say Lena mentioned before heading out. I follow the instructions and reach a big open area full of people on bikes, walking or just sitting in the grass. I wander around looking for any sign of Lena or people playing tennis. Finally, I spot the courts and make my way over. Out of the dozen or so people who are playing, it isn't hard to find Lena when I get there.
Yeah! Nice serve!
I can't read properly. She runs back and forth, leaping and diving to hit the little green ball before it can touch the ground. She flaps her wings to keep from falling over when she does. Her partner, a tall boy with banders on his head, looks exhausted when he swings his racket. It looks like his arm might fall off at any second. When I get close enough, Lena notices me and stops mid-dive. What?
Miho! You're late!
Now that she is distracted, her partner takes the opportunity to hurry away, collapsing into the grass to rest.
Sorry, I wasn't sure what time I should come by. Or where.
Oh, right. I guess I should have told you. In that case, good guess.
I don't bother telling her that I got help from one of her coworkers. Lena picks up a racket from nearby and offers it to me.
Ready to play?
I guess.
I guess so. I don't really know the rules though.
Nah, it's fine. Me either. Just try to hit the ball, alright?
Okay, now just why you're cheating.
Okay, I can do that.
I take my spot on the other side of the net, trying to imitate the way other people are standing.
Alright, here goes.
Lena drops the ball and then knocks it towards me. I watch it carefully. When it gets close enough, I swing! The ball goes soaring way over her head and falls into the grass out of sight somewhere.
Maybe a little less oomph next time. Let's try it again.
She snares the ball, and this time I just barely hit it over the net. Mina dives for it just like before and sends it sailing back to me. The more we play, the easier it gets. Both of us miss the ball or knock it into the net a lot, but it's not too bad. Finally, even Lena gets tired. We take a break to drink some water.
How long have you played tennis?
Like, today or in my life?
In your life?
A week? A day? She thinks about it a bit, scrunches up her nose.
About a week.
About a week.
Oh, that's it?
Yeah, how about you?
About half an hour, I guess.
Oh, right. I forgot about that. See? We're both trying new things.
Okay then. The whole time we're talking, Lena keeps glancing away from me to watch the other players. I try to figure out what she's interested about, but can't.
Okay, break's over. Let's play some more.
We get back to the court. We get back on the court and play for a little bit longer until the end of an hour of the hour. As everyone else starts to pack up and leave, I follow. As I leave, I follow Lena, who puts away our equipment. I can't read.
So, what'd you think? Did you have fun?
Sure.
It was alright. I wouldn't mind doing it again, but I don't know if I'd want to play all the time. I can see why some people enjoy it at least.
Being outside is nice. It was a good way to burn off some energy.
That's good. They meet a few times a week if you want to come back.
Will you be here?
No.
Not sure yet.
Even while cleaning up, she's still distracted by someone or something else. When the other players walk past us on their way out the park, Lena turns her back to watch one of them.
Get ready, because we're planting trees here next time. Really exciting, right? If you want to help out...
I catch a snippet of a conversation as the person Lena's watching. A dryad goes by. Lena must have heard too, because she instantly closes her eyes and must hear too. She closes her eyes and puts her finger against the side of her head. Fingers. What?
Planting trees. Planting trees.
She repeats the words to herself a few times, then her eyes snap back open.
Okay, got it.
Okay?
Got what?
What I'm doing next time. I'll have to start studying up tonight so that I'm ready.
Okay, if you say so.
I'm pretty lost, but maybe this is just how Lena is.
You should come too, if you're not doing anything. I'll tell Aspen to give you the details.
Sure, sounds good.
I'm not sure if I want to commit, especially since Lena probably won't even remember me the next time we see each other. But playing tennis wasn't so bad. I should at least keep my opportunities open.
Good. Alright, see you then, Miho.
Okay, goodbye.
See ya.
Goodbye, Lena. Waving goodbye, Lena heads down one of the paths. I take a different one that leads me out of the park and back to the library for the rest of the day. With a tiny ding, the toast pops out, and I load it onto the plate with the other slices. I bring the dish over to the table.
Thank you, Miho. Go ahead and put it by the butter.
Oops, sorry. Let me get my bag out of your way.
Once the table is set, and the three of us sit, I've gotten more used to the routine of breakfast. And know when to do things like pass the salt and pepper without being asked. Every morning so far we have the same thing, eggs and toast. But it's a lot tastier than convenience store food. And there are different spreads and fruits to change things up. Like usual, I'm the first one to finish eating, followed by Aspen, who stretches with a content sigh. If I can read my eyes.
Breakfast was as superb as always. Thank you, Juliet.
It's my pleasure.
Marry the fucking shit, I can't read anything. The two of them saying this is part of the routine too. Usually Aspen would be getting up right now to leave for work, except this time she doesn't.
Don't you need to go, Aspen?
Is this your way of trying to get rid of me?
No. She peers at me from over the rim of her cup as she sips her coffee.
Nah, I haven't thought about that. I was just wondering.
Not to the menu off. I'm an idiot. Lol.
I'm not sure if I should be flattered. Anyway, I'm working a mid-shift today, so I don't have to go in until noon.
Woo!
Will you be writing then?
Dude!
Yes, I ought to.
You want to?
I'm about halfway through this draft, and I'm trying to finish it by the end of this month, so every minute helps.
Oh yeah.
Oh my. Halfway already.
Love her
That's
outfit.
excellent progress.
Look
I
at
look
Miho.
forward to reading it when you're
Look at
finished.
Miho's outfit. It's so pretty. It's so simple yet so pretty. Look at these ladies. They're so pretty. Oh, I love them.
Don't give me too much credit. I still have to get there first, and you know how that's gone before.
All you can do is keep trying.
What are you writing?
A book. I've been working on it for a couple of years now, as long as I've been in Wellington.
Whoa, and you're only halfway done? How long is it gonna be?
Only halfway. I wish it was as easy as you think it is. It takes time to plan the story and prepare to write, and then, even after the drafting is done, you still have to edit it and fix it. Of course, the more you write, the better you become at it. And so, sometimes you notice flaws in your story that you didn't catch before, so you have to go back or start over.
How do you ever get anything done then if you're always getting better? Don't you just have to finish it eventually?
Well, like I said, it's not that simple.
Aspen clears her throat.
Anyway, it's difficult to explain to someone who's never written anything. Believe me, any writer would tell you the same thing.
I glance over at Juliet, who is intently watching her tea as she stirs it.
And you? Did you end up finding something to fill your time?
Oh, like a hobby. Maybe. I don't know yet.
Well, don't worry about it too much. It's supposed to be fun, not something you have to force yourself to do. Although I'm hardly one to talk, there are times where I want to do anything except write.
It's okay. At least you have something.
Yeah.
Julia told me about movies, so I might try watching one of those. Have you ever seen a movie?
Yes.
Once or twice, I'm sure.
Actually, Miho, there was something I wanted to ask you.
Yes?
What's that?
Well, How would you feel about helping out around the library as a part-time job? I'll pay you for your time, of course. It would give you something to do during the day, and it would be a great help to me.
Woo! I'll work!
Really?
I'll work! I can do it work!
But I thought you didn't need any help running the library.
I do work!
It's true that I don't need it. The honor system has served me well for the day-to-day services, and I'm kept informed of any troublemakers.
Huh?
But in addition to the kind assistance from Aspen in the mornings, I also have to reshelve books, maintain the check-in and check-out logs, and more. I don't mind those tasks at all. In fact, I find them rather relaxing. But if you're uninterested, you're more than welcome to decline. You needn't worry about being kicked out or disappointing me. I'm perfectly content either way.
Going around here doesn't sound bad at all. It doesn't seem very exciting either, but it's not like I found something I'd rather do instead. At least it's comfy in the library and super convenient. Having some money again would be nice too. It would be even better than there's no one trying to take it back.
Alright, I'll do it.
Yeah, looks a little taken aback.
That was fast. Are you quite sure?
Yeah, I'll try it at least.
Of course. If you find it's not for you, then I won't be upset. Why don't you take the rest of the week for yourself, and you can begin on Monday?
On Monday?
Okay, that sounds good to me.
Woo!
Excellent. I'll be looking forward to it then.
The two of them chat a bit longer before Aspen leaves to go right and Juliet goes to bed. I stay mostly quiet, thinking to myself, a job. There's something I never envisioned having. I figured I'd just keep stealing until what exactly? I'm not too sure. Until I find my person, I guess? That goal has been all I focused on for my entire life. But now spending time here in Wellington is actually making me plan things out in advance. When I stop and think about the future, it's a lot of emptiness and mystery. It makes me realize just how little I have to fall back on. I have to fall back on. Why doing all these normal things like getting a job could be good for me. I don't know what might be useful someday. As for my person, I'm still always looking for them, and how can now I can find them? That part hasn't changed. For now, I'll just go with the flow and see where it takes me. Alright! Saving again. Help wanted. Julia is looking for a very specific set of skills. I have very specific set of skills. I don't know who you are. I want to find you. Now, let's see. I can't go home. What's home? What's classified as home? Oh, the library. Let's go to Victoria. As I'm walking up the mountain road, I come across a rare sight. A mother duck and her orderly row of ducklings are carefully crossing the street. Mostly only bikers and hikers come this way, so I don't think they're at any particular risk. But it's a little bit anxiety-inducing watching the mother duck moving so slowly and meticulously with her babies in tow. Move it along, miss! Finally, they reach the safety of the grass, waddle their way furiously into the bushes. I let out a breath, and I didn't realize I was holding. What? Oh, that's about a day. doing that. I didn't realize that. I didn't realize I spent a day doing that. Huh? I didn't really... I skipped over the tutorial on how the day system works. I just realized that. Okay, thank you. Let's turn on skip red only. Let's go to... Okay. I didn't realize there was a time icon on that. That's why. Okay. Time icon and everything. So let's actually make the most of the day. Let's go to Cuba Street and meet the boy again. I was dumb and forgot how the time system works. Feel like I could use a break. I head down to Cuba Street, where while I walk, I count up the bills in my wallet. Aspen was right. Having a job is quite nice. When did I get a job? At least having money is. I can buy so many snacks and no one can yell at me now. When I get there, I zero in on one of the convenience stores I stole sandwiches from on the first day here. I browse through, grabbing anything that looks good and carry it to the front, where I dump everything onto the counter.
All of these, please.
I don't have enough for that, though.
Are you having a party or something?
Nope. It's all for me.
Your voice sounds different, Miho. The impressed-looking employee fills up a plastic bag with my bounty, chips and candy and sandwiches.
Now, to find somewhere to enjoy these.
I don't want to walk all the way back to the library, but all the benches around are full. I carry my bag up the street, and then down another and another and another, and around until I reach a place I've never seen before. A large brick entrance looms over me, with a wide open black gate. People are going in and out freely, so it must be okay. It's not breaking and entering if everyone's doing it right. As soon as I step in, I'm surrounded by plants. There's green in every direction. I don't have to walk for very long before I find exactly what I'm looking for. A nice, quiet bench in the shade of a couple of trees. As I'm walking over, something suddenly flies past my face. At first I thought it was a bird or a piece of cloth caught in the wind, but after a second I realized it's fabled. One that seems familiar. It drifts away without stopping and floats in the opposite direction from me. I go and sit down and unwrapping the snack bar that I bought and taking a big bite. While I'm munching, a bug starts to buzz around my head. I wave it away a few times, but it keeps coming back.
What is it with things getting in my face today?
No matter how many times I swatted it, the bug doesn't give up. Finally, I go to knock it away, and totally by accident, end up catching it in my hand instead. I feel it buzzing against my palm as it flies around trying to find a way out. It's not exactly pleasant. I'm not sure what to do with it. If I just toss it in the bushes, it'll come right back.
Can I have that?
Boy. A voice comes from behind, almost startling me into letting the bug go. I spin around and come face to face with the fabled that flew by a couple of minutes ago. Just beneath him is a kid.
Have the bug?
Yeah, it's for my collection.
The boy holds up a book with some pictures of other bugs on it.
I've got almost all the bugs on this page. That's the only one left.
Suddenly, I remember where I've seen both him and the fable before. On the pier. Tiny from his mom a couple of weeks ago. I think his name was Tommy? It took me a bit to recognize him since he wasn't pouting.
Mom won't let me keep bugs because she says they're dirty, but Dad doesn't mind. So, can I have it? Please?
He pulls out a little jar from one of his pockets and opens the lid.
Well, it solves my problem, I guess.
I dump the bug into the jar, and Tommy quickly shuts it.
Thanks. Kirby and I were tracking this one all day.
Hero bops up and down in agreement. At least I think it's agreement. All three of us turn at the sound of footsteps as someone else approaches us. My favorite spot was filled up pretty fast.
Hi, bud. You catch anything good yet?
Hey, Elijah.
Dad! Look what this lady caught!
Trent runs up and shoves the jar into the man's face. He takes it and inspects the bug inside.
Oh, looks like a big one. Did you say thank you?
Yeah, Kirby did too.
Oh, is that what it meant when you bopped up and down?
Both Tommy and his dad stare at me like I'm just saying something crazy. I take an instinctive step backwards.
You mean that...
You can see Kirby? You mean he's real?
Yeah! Oh, that's right! I remember this from last time. No one except Tommy could see Gerby. Tommy and me, apparently.
Yeah, he's floating right there. He has a purple flower on his head and on his sides.
I point at Gerby, although little Fable doesn't have a mouth, its eyes crinkle up in a way that makes me think it's smiling.
Wow, she can really see him! See, I told you he was real, told you!
Tommy's dad whistles in wonder.
You sure did, kiddo.
He turns to me.
Not sure how you did it, but you're the first person I've met who's been able to see Gerby. I've heard lots about him, of course. My name's Elijah, by the way, and I'm a reporter for one of the local papers. Mind if I ask you a couple questions?
Yes, I'm trying to enjoy my break here, eating foods I bought. I tried to do, mind. I just want to eat a snack in peace. Now I'm being asked to do an interview? My discomfort must show because Elijah waves a hand, just like when he was trying to wave the bug away. When I was trying to wave the bug away.
Fine. Forget I asked. Didn't mean to put you on the spot.
I'm just not very good at talking to people.
No worries. Thanks for helping Tommy catch that bug, though. Beats me having to do it.
Sure. It was kind of an accident, though.
Hey, an accident doesn't have to be a bad thing. Me and Tommy should probably be heading out, though, or his mum's gonna be upset with me. Oh, and Gerby.
And Gabby.
Okay.
And Gabby.
Goodbye.
Forget Gabby.
Take care. Say bye, Tommy.
Bye, Tommy. Elijah takes Tommy's hand and leads him back out the gate, holding Tommy's book in his hand. Tommy carries the bug in a jar, peeking in, check on it every few steps. Gerby chills. I think Gerby stays behind, orbiting around my head a couple times before bouncing up and down. Then he floats off in the same direction as the other two. When I'm finally alone, I sigh with relief. At long last, I enjoyed the snacks that I bought earlier, and when a bug shows up, starts flying around me, I just leave it alone. I'm not taking any more chances. Once we finish eating breakfast, Juliet drums her fingers on the table, looking thoughtful.
Miho, it occurred to me that perhaps I should give you the proper tour of the library now. That way, you have the weekend to get better acquainted with it if you need.
Tour? I think I've seen everything, right?
Pardon. I meant of the books themselves. Where to find each genre and what they are.
Oh, right. Sure.
I hadn't really thought about the books. To me, they're all the same. But I guess that wouldn't be true for everyone else. Right now I have the place memorized in the same way I'd memorize the battlefield. What places are out of sight, how to get in and out, and anything else that might be useful. I don't think there are many other I don't think there are many battles that happen in here, so Juliet's tour would probably be more helpful.
If you'd like, I can show you a couple of my favorite books. That way, if anyone asks for a recommendation, you could at least make something up.
That'd be great.
Anything that makes it easier for me to make things up and is fine by me. Three of us head to the entrance.
Let's start with the basics, shall we? As you know, this is the reference desk. It's where books are checked in and out, and where anyone who needs help can find it.
What kind of help do people ask for?
Usually, they need assistance finding a specific book. Or perhaps they need a recommendation for what to read next, as Aspen mentioned.
Hope they like the same books as her then.
Don't worry, I'll think of some that are more popular. Not my real favorites, which most people would be too bored to finish.
Juliet leads us into the actual rows of shelves. I stare down the books as I pass by, committing as many details to memory as I can. Even if I can't read the words, I can try to remember the colors and shapes and covers.
Over here is the children's section. It's got lots of picture books and beginner reader books. The shelves are shorter too, so that children can reach them more easily.
Oh, I've seen some of those around. Are adults allowed to read them too?
Sure.
Of course. Parents read to their kids quite often.
Some people read them for fun, too. You gain so much more appreciation for the illustrations once you're older.
We head over to another area.
This is the non-fiction section. It's for books about things that are true, rather than made-up stories.
I rarely visit this section, personally.
In a shady corner near Aspen's favorite table, Juliet taps a small sign hanging on one of the shelves.
This is the mystery section. Stories about detectives, murders, and other such subjects live here.
I do admire mystery writers. It's difficult to come up with a compelling one.
We go around the whole library like this, with Juliet and Aspen pointing out all the different sections. Finally, we come to a stop back at the desk where we started.
I do believe that's everything. Do you feel like you have a good understanding now?
It's hard to keep them all straight. Fantasy, history, cookbooks, biographies. I think I've got most of it, though.
By the end, my head feels like it's spinning. I know that I won't be able to remember everything as hard as I try. But I do feel like I've gotten a bit better for the place. A better feel for the place. At the very least, I could show someone where to find the restrooms. That's good for
It is a
at
lot
least.
to take in. Don't worry if you can't memorize it all right away. There's plenty of time to learn.
Even I forget where things are sometimes, and I've spent more time here than at my own apartment.
Thanks! It might take me a while, but I'll get it eventually.
I know you will. I have the utmost confidence in you.
If I'm going to do this, I might as well try my best. Maybe something good will come from it. And if not, I can always just leave.
Want me to show you the books I was thinking of now?
Sure!
I'll be off to bed myself then. Have a lovely day, you two.
Good night. Good morning, Juliet.
Sleep well.
Night!
Morning. Did use it though. Juliet heads upstairs while Aspen and I go back to the shelves.
To start with,
She leads the way to the fiction section, which is easy to remember since it's the biggest. Aspen runs a finger across the books as we move down an aisle. I see her scanning the titles before she stops and taps the spine of one.
here we are, Wuthering Heights. I just returned this one recently after finishing my annual reread. It's a very tragic love story. The main character is rather terrible, I must confess, and there's an awful lot of death. But despite all that, it's beautiful.
That description definitely isn't what I was expecting.
People really like to read that stuff?
Sometimes, yes. You read to experience all kinds of different feelings. Besides, I think there's a kind of sad beauty to doomed romances like that. It really does put life in perspective.
If you say so.
You don't have to take my word for it. I'm sure you'll see for yourself once you start working here. In the meantime...
I follow Aspen to the other side of the room, where there are a couple of smaller racks of books near the counter, near the corner.
Do you enjoy poetry?
Maybe.
You mean like vases and stuff? Guess they're okay.
No, that's pottery.
That's pottery. Poetry is...
She clears her throat.
Prose. Words in their best order. Poetry, the best words in the best order. Samuel Coleridge said that. He was a poet, but he's not the one I have in mind. I'll show you what he meant.
The book she selects looks old. Very old. It has a green cover. That's rough like a lizard's skin, with the letters being faded gold.
Alfred Lord Tennyson is one of the most famous poets to have existed. I simply adore his work. Here, this is from The Lady of Shalott. Ahem.
She goes her throat again, even though it's only been a few seconds since the last time.
Willows whiten, aspens shiver. The sunbeam showers break and quiver. In the stream that runneth ever, by the island in the river, flowing down to Camelot.
I barely heard past the first line.
Aspens, like your name. Does it come from this poem?
If only. Aspens are a type of tree. Mum loves them. More than she likes poetry, for sure. I do wish I'd been named after it, though.
She reads the rest of it, which ends up being pretty long. It's kind of hard to follow, but imagining the fields and towers that she talks about is nice. In fact, I'm pretty sure I've been to Camelot before. Some of the details in the poetry aren't quite right. Anyway, even if I don't really understand the poem, it's nice to listen to Aspen reading it. Plus, it's no way I'd forget what that book looks like.
Alright, last one.
Alright?
I thought 3 would be enough to start, but you can always ask me for more recommendations if you need.
Got it, thank you. I appreciate it.
I could suggest books until lunch, if I didn't stop myself.
Mm-hmm.
I might someday. Even though I lived in the library for a few days now, I never really knew how many different books there were out there before.
Oh, believe me, this library isn't even a fraction of what exists. It's not that big for a library, in fact, just huge for a personal collection, which is really what it is.
How many books have you read?
I couldn't even guess. Definitely hundreds. Maybe thousands? I've never tried counting, but perhaps I should now that you mention it. It would be nice to look back on someday. Okay, here we are.
The book she takes me to is laid out flat on an end table, where people can read it and see it, rather than on the shelf.
Everyone knows the story of Peter Pan, the boy who never grows up and can fly.
Everyone except me.
Lol. Of course.
Now you do too. Peter has a darling fairy friend named Tinkerbell, and he fights the dastardly pirate Captain Hook.
Uh-huh.
Peter leads a group of boys called the Lost Boys, and they cause all sorts of trouble for Neverland, where they all live.
What
do you mean he never grows up?
In Neverland, you never get older. So he stays a young boy for his whole life. Even when the girl he loves, Wendy, grows up and gets married and someday dies.
You sure do like sad stories, huh?
I suppose I do. It's as Peter Pan himself says. To die would be an awfully big adventure. Still, it's not like I only like sad things. Romance is my favourite genre, and not just the tragic kind.
Sit down on one of the chairs, since it seems like Aspen wants to it seems Aspen wants to have a conversation. May as well get comfy. Aspen sits down too, fidgeting with the strap on her purse.
Why is it your favorite?
Why? Well,
Her hands stop moving while she thinks.
In a book, things can be much more perfect than in real life. A moonlit balcony all alone, or a sunset kiss on the seashore. Real life is considerably messier. I've never been in love before, although I think it sounds quite nice. As I said earlier, people read to feel things. So until that time, living vicariously through other stories is enough. What about you?
What about me?
Do you ever hope to fall in love? I assume you haven't been in love before, but maybe I'm wrong.
Nah, I haven't. I like being on my own.
Do you think maybe that would change if you met the right person?
I don't know. Maybe. I haven't thought about it much. Since everyone forgets me, there's never been a reason for me to care.
I suppose that's reasonable. Still, well, it doesn't matter. Do you ever watch movies? Or TV? Just about everything has a love story in it nowadays, not just books.
Nah, not in a long time.
How long?
You're asked a lot of questions, and they jump around topics so much too. I don't really mind, but I have to try hard to even remember the answers. All the places I've seen and days I've spent have mostly bled together in my head.
I'm not sure. A few years? There was a really big crowd around a window, so I wanted to see what they were all looking at.
And? What was it?
I don't know what it was. I didn't speak the language there yet, and I didn't memorize the sounds. But on TV, there were these people in white suits bouncing around, and the people watching seemed really excited by it.
White suits, but I don't know what that is. Aspen gasps.
Did the people on TV, do you remember by chance if the place they were hopping around looked like a desert, all rocky and empty?
Now that you mention it, yeah! How did you know?
She dashes a hand to her forehead in disbelief.
That was the moon landing!
Oh! The moon landing!
No, I'm pretty sure I'd remember if the moon landed.
Ha 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 ha.
Not like that, silly. It was when humans went to the moon for the first time.
Oh shit, that's a long time ago.
They did?
Yeah.
Yes, and you saw it happen, apparently.
They must have had help from the Fableds magic, right?
Nah.
No, not this time. It was pure human ingenuity.
Whoa.
You look surprised.
I am. I didn't know humans could do something like that.
That was a long time ago though.
Well, not just any human. It took a lot of work from a lot of people. It still does to this day. I can't believe you got to watch it live, though. What was it like?
had a really good lunch that day. Everyone was so distracted that I was able to sneak into a restaurant that usually would have caught me.
Yes. She shakes her head.
That's all you can remember.
It was some kind of pasta dish with a white sauce and lots of cheese.
Alfredo sauce.
I meant about... Oh, never mind. Anyway, I was just going to suggest asking Juliet about putting a TV in your room. Surely there's one in this place somewhere. It would give you something to do, at least.
Nice.
And you don't have to be able to read to enjoy the story of a good show or movie.
Yeah, I might. I definitely need something to do other than walk around town all day.
But it is fun to walk around town all day.
Let me know if you do. I'll bring over some movies for you to borrow.
Woo!
If I can't recommend books to you, at least I can do that.
Woo!
Will do.
Movies.
I don't know where else I'd start anyway.
After checking her phone, Aspen stands back up.
I'll be more than happy whenever you ask. For now, not to be rude, but I'm going to go write for a little while.
Yeah, you do that. You have fun. Relax.
I'm working on the last couple chapters of this book before I'm finished, and I want to be done with it as fast as I can.
Oh, sure. Good luck.
To tell the truth, I'm always a bit relieved when someone else ends the conversation for me. I never know how to do it myself. I wave goodbye as Aspen goes off to her table by the window, pen in hand. Within moments, she's hunched over her notebook, writing. Alright, it's time to do something. Alright, what are we gonna... okay, what's on the docket? Only interesting thing is, once again, the park for planting trees. We can plant trees. Plant trees. Let's go plant trees. Since I don't have anything better to do, I decided to head back to the park to see Lena. Aspen told me where and when I could find her, although we both know that Lena won't have any idea who I am. Make sure that I see Aspen and Juliet every day is hard enough as it is. Though I like Lena, I don't think I could put an effort to remember her too. Maybe if she starts coming by the library in the morning, like Aspen does, although I'm pretty sure that's the last thing Aspen would ever want to happen. I go back to the park where we play tennis, and wander around searching for Lena. It takes a bit longer since I'm not looking for something as obvious as tennis court. But I finally find her in a group of people near some trees, planting them. All of them, including her, have shovels in their hands and are working on digging holes. Finally, something I'm good at. Although, compared to tennis, it looks like a punishment than a hobby. I walk over to Lena, who's barely made a dent in the ground. She waves when she sees me, but not in a familiar way.
Hi there! Here to volunteer?
Maybe? Volunteer for what?
To save the planet, duh! What does it look like we're doing?
Digging in the dirt?
Exactly! We're planting new trees to, help beautify the city of Wellington by promoting natural resources. I think.
She says the second part like she's reading off a label or sign.
If you want to help out, go talk to Cyrus. He'll get you all set up.
It points over at someone that I sort of recognize, the Dryad that Lena was watching when we played tennis. Hi, Cyrus. Since I'm here, I might as well give it a shot, so I follow her instructions and walk over.
Hi there. I'm here to help out.
Welcome aboard. I'm Cyrus. Here's a sapling and a shovel.
Cyrus holds out a shovel in one hand and a small bucket with a tree in the other. I take them, doing my best not to drop the sapling.
Okay. I'm Miho. What do we do now?
First you dig, then you plant. Then you do that over and over until you get bored and go home.
That sounds easy enough.
Everyone says that at first. Good luck.
He starts to walk away, but then pauses.
Hey, quick question. Are you friends with that girl over there? The one with the wings?
Lena? Sort of.
Can you let me know if she... Actually, never mind. Forget it.
Oh,
Let me know if you need any help.
are you interested in her? Or are you just concerned with the fact that she does not know what the fuck she's doing? This time, he really does leave, walking around to check the progress everyone's making. Now that I'm all set up, I take the things he gave me and go back to where Lena is.
Good to go? Since you're new too, let's have a race. We can see who plants more trees by the end.
Before I can respond or even think about it, Lena starts fiercely hacking at the ground. Dirt flies like when I was building my den. I watch her for a second, then start on my own. I don't really want to compete with Lena, so I go my own place. It's a little awkward. I could do this in seconds as a fox, but using a shovel feels strange and inefficient. Muscles don't even know. Muscles I didn't even know I have start to feel sore. Only a few minutes later, Lena sprawls on the ground, exhausted, only half done at best.
I didn't think it'd be so hard to dig a hole.
While she's laying there, Cyrus comes around on one of the inspections and stops to examine both of our handiwork.
Nice job, Miho. You're a natural.
I sure am.
Lena? Good effort.
Lena leaps to her feet, using her wings to propel herself into a standing position.
I wasn't taking a break. I was, testing the ground to see if it might be softer over here. Look, this one will be even better.
Before her eyes, Lena starts to attack the ground again, even faster than when she started racing me. Dirt sails over our heads as she tosses it away from herself, with some of it falling on Cyrus's head. He looks strangely resigned.
Just don't hurt yourself, okay? I don't want to have to carry someone to the hospital again.
Carrie? I mean, again?
Ah, you're in love with this man. You're following him around, doing all his hobbies and things. Lena asks questions without stopping her work.
It's a long story. Anyway, just be careful.
As he begins to leave, Cyrus puts a hand on my shoulder. I tense up, but I should not shake it off.
Keep an eye on her, would you?
Okay. I nod and Cyrus walks away. As soon as he's out of earshot, Lena comes to a halt.
Miho, right? I need you to break my arm.
No,
You... What?
I'm not doing that.
Yeah, maybe that's a bit much. Maybe just a finger would be enough.
Why would you want to do that?
Oh, you're right! A broken leg would make more sense.
I'm not entirely sure we're having the same conversation. I thought to try a different approach.
So, are you and Cyrus friends or something?
Friends? Kind of. Unfortunately.
You don't want to be friends?
I want to be more than that!
For the first time ever, Lena looks around after speaking, like she's worried someone might have hurt her.
Like... best friends?
More than that! Like boyfriend and girlfriend.
Oh...
This is that love thing we were talking about earlier. That explains why I didn't understand.
How's that going?
Horribly. She sighs with her wings as her wings droop.
Well, you just saw pretty much. I know Cyrus from ballet, but I quit ballet, so I only get to see him at other stuff like this. But he's always trying something new every week, so I do too. But it's kind of hard to talk to him, especially when he's so busy. When I heard he was gonna come plant trees, I had no idea he'd be in charge. So I can't let him think I'm a slacker or bad at tennis. Not when he already thinks I'm a quitter.
I think I get it.
The one thing I know for sure is that it sounds complicated. Good luck, Lena. The two of us go back shoveling dirt, and eventually we go deep enough that we can plant the sapling that Cyrus gave us. I carefully set mine in the ground and then cover it back up the same way I've seen other people doing it. When it's time to wrap up, Cyrus makes one last trip around, collecting shovels and handing out water bottles. When he reaches us, he nods approvingly.
Good work, both of you.
Thanks.
I gulp down the water he gives me in just a few swigs.
Yeah, thanks.
On the other hand, Lena still seems a bit dejected. She doesn't even try to talk to Cyrus before he leaves. When the two of us part ways, she just gives me a half-hearted wave.
See you later.
Yeah, bye.
I'm not really sure what she'll be doing next time, much less when or where. Maybe Asma will tell me about it again. Digging holes wasn't exactly something I'd want to do a second time. Planting a tree was satisfying, and I'm kind of curious to see how things go with Lena and Cyrus. If go at all. Lena's kind of a lot, as Aspen says, but she's nice. I hope everything works out for her, at least. Looking around, I noticed that I'm the only one left, so I toss my empty bottle in a recycling bin and start making my way back. Oh, where do I want to go? I go fishing, or I can continue, or oh, it's the mother. Okay, let's see. Let's go see Tommy and his mother. Looking around for something to do. I head to Cuba Street to walk around. I don't go shopping very often since I have pretty much everything I could need at the library. I do like looking around. While I wander, I notice two people that I sort of recognize sitting at a table together. Tommy's parents. Last time the dad introduced himself, he was me as Elijah. Although I recognize his mom, I never heard her name. The two of them are sitting across from each other, and his mom has her face in her hands. Elijah looks kind of upset, but stays on his side of the table. Tommy and Gerby don't seem to be around. Gerby. My curiosity gets the better of me, and I sit down close by where I can hear what they're talking about.
Gwen, we're still on the same side here. Tommy's side, right?
I know. It's just... it's a lot, okay? It's a lot.
Yeah. But, we knew it wasn't going to be easy.
At least we were right about that.
Gwen pats her pockets, looking around, and Elijah pulls out a packet of tissues from his own pocket. He offers them to her, she takes one and blows her nose.
What are we supposed to tell his teacher? This is the third time he's gotten in a fight this month.
Are they talking about Tommy? Can't picture him in a fight. He's way too small. What would he even be fighting about?
Yeah. Did they say if he won or not?
Elijah!
Sorry. Why don't you talk to the school and let them know that we're dealing with it? And I can talk to T when he's back from your place next time.
Fine. Maybe he'll listen to you better than he'll listen to me.
Maybe. It's a shame we can't get Gerby to talk to him.
Gwen scoffs.
Or anyone. I don't think it's bad for him to have an imaginary friend or anything, but...
Oh, that's right. The other day, Tommy and I ran into someone who was able to see Gerby.
He was talking about me. I scooted a little closer to the bench where I'm sitting to make sure I don't miss anything.
Really? Who was it?
You know, I can't remember. I remember them saying it, but I can't picture their face or voice. I wish I'd gotten a name or something.
So you don't actually know if they saw him or not? They just said they could.
Well, technically. Maybe you're right. I wish I could think of who it was.
I'm tempted to walk over and tell them it was me, but I don't know what that would accomplish. I don't even have any idea, any way to prove what I'm saying, and it might just make me come off as crazy. I only sort of follow along with what they're talking about, but it seems like Tommy's having a lot of trouble, and neither of them knows what to do about it. That's not anything I can give advice on or help with either. Fine, Gwen checks her watch.
Well, I've got to go pick him up. I'll let you know what the teacher says when I talk to her.
All right. Let me know if you need anything.
Yeah, bye.
They head up and it seems like they're not sure how to act. Finally, Gwen gives a stiff wave and walks off down Cuba Street. Elijah sticks around for a bit longer, sighing like Gwen did and running a hand through his hair. But he leaves in the opposite direction. Humans and their relationships are complicated. I would never have to deal with something like this. Now that the two of them are gone, there's nothing else going on around here that's very interesting. Eventually I get up as well and start walking again in search for the next thing that could entertain me for a while. After another day spent entertaining myself around town, I decided to take Aspen's advice and ask Juliet about a TV. The light is on in Juliet's study, meaning she's in there. Knock on the door, and yet an instant response.
Come in.
The study hasn't changed at all since I was here a couple of days ago. Except there aren't any bats in the corner this time. Just me and Aspen.
Hi.
Hi.
Good evening, Miho. What brings you here?
I'm a little bit worried about how to do this. Usually I just take something I want. Lately I've started saying yes when people offer me things, but going in and just asking for something? Well, I'll have to do it sometime.
I had a question. Yesterday, Aspen said I should ask about getting a TV in my room. That way, I'd have something to do.
Oh, that is a good idea. I take it today wasn't particularly exciting either.
Not really. It was fine. Nothing bad happened. I'm just...
I don't want to say I'm bored. What if she thinks I'm blaming her or ungrateful? I bit my lip, trying to think of a better way to put it, but she seems to read my mind.
Bored? It's all right, you can say it. An empty room would be boring for anyone. I believe there should be a television somewhere around. Let's take a look.
I follow her out of the office. Juliet takes me down one of the hallways I've never been down and where I don't think I've ever seen the light turn on. We pass by several doors.
What are all these rooms?
They've been all kinds of things over the years. Bedrooms, studies, playrooms. But now they're mostly just storage.
We step in front of one door, intriguingly indistinguishable from the rest.
I believe this is the one.
It's not locked. Juliet just opens it normally. Inside is dark and dusty. The window is covered with heavy curtains that won't let any light in. In other words, what you'd expect from a vampire house. The tons of junk leaning against the wall was like some faded There's tons of junk leaning against the walls, like some faded bikes, and a dresser that's missing a drawer.
Ah, there it is.
There's a point that I see what she's looking at. There's a TV in one of the corners. Its cord wrapped around itself in a thick blanket of dust. We both walk over and I wipe some of the dust away. It immediately blows into my face. I regret that.
Miho, are you alright?
That's so cute. Still, I back a few steps away.
As you can tell, it's been a while since I've come in here.
Much more carefully than me. Juliet cleans off the TV.
I believe it should still work, though.
Okay, I can move it to my room then.
It's alright. I can take it.
Juliet effortlessly lifts the TV up and begins to carry it to my room.
Whoa.
That's hot. I know from plenty of experience that TVs aren't exactly easy to lift.
I need to remind myself to never piss her off.
Definitely. After it's hot. I hurry after her, arriving at my room just as she sets the TV down in the corner and plugs it in.
Let's see.
She presses the power button with a soft buzz. It comes to life.
It works!
Indeed. I'm relieved. Let me try to remember how to use it.
It's kind of slow, but she managed to explain all the different buttons and what they do. How to use the remote. It didn't seem that complicated, but also I never learned how to do it either. Once we make sure it's not going to die or anything, Juliet leaves me on my own with it. I change through all the channels, getting an idea of what there is. There are some channels with cartoons, which I know are meant for kids. There are also some shows with real people in them, but don't make much sense to me. Maybe if I watched them from the beginning. There are also plenty of ads. I recognize more products than I do shows. That probably has more to do with my lifestyle than anything else, though. Even flipping through stations constantly, I do find myself having much more fun than I was just snapping or walking around. I see why some humans do this all the day. Eventually, I go back to one of the cartoon channels. Even if it's for kids, they're easier to follow along. They're easier to follow along with. I pick one and leave running, climbing into bed to watch. I end up spending a few hours watching until I fall asleep at night. Having something else to follow along with and think about is a nice distraction from having my own doubts and worries creeping up on me. If this is what a normal life is like, then maybe it's something I could get used to after all. It's now Monday. It's not Sunday, I mean, I can't fucking read. Back to the I like just talking to people. It's fun. I could just explore, but there's nothing. There's not like a story happening. I like story. During a conversation with Aspen, she told me about what Lena's next adventure would be. An outdoor painting class. When that time rolls around, I decide to go check it out. Just like the other activities I've tried with Lena, it'll be happening in the park. When I arrive, I don't even have to look around. The class is right next to the entrance. The group is bigger than the ones for tennis and tree planting. Everyone has a big canvas on a stand in front of them, and there are a bunch of paints and bushes in the middle. Lena's easy to find, like always, and I see Cyrus on the other side of the crowd, away from her. Seems like he's not the one in charge today. A friendly person in a paint-stained apron sees me arrive and helps me choose a canvas and some art supplies. Then leads me to find the spot. Then sends me to find a spot. Naturally, I head over to where Lena is.
Hey, mind if I set up here?
Oh, sure. Are you new here?
Yeah, this is my first time painting.
Me too. Want to have a Actually, maybe you shouldn't race when you're painting.
I take a peek at what Lena's been working on. It doesn't seem like there's a particular topic, so everyone's painting is different. Lena's painting is a picture of a young swan with a flower on its head. It's surprisingly great.
This is amazing for your first time.
You think so? I mean, of course it is. What are you gonna paint?
I don't know.
I don't know yet. Let's see.
There are a bunch of different sized brushes, and a variety of colors. Having so many options to choose from makes it harder, not easier to decide. Maybe I should go with something simple, like a tree. Choosing a bush and a shade of brown, a brush and a shade of brown I got to work.
Alright, everyone. Warm-up's over. Go ahead and find a partner. We're going to work on portraits today.
My tree's mostly done by now. It's not really detailed, and it doesn't look like any tree I've ever seen in real life, but at least I can tell what it's supposed to be. When the instructor says to choose a partner, I instantly turn to Lena, preparing to ask her, but of course, she's looking over to Cyrus, in Cyrus' direction. I thought to myself,
You should go ask him before he ends up with someone else.
it'll mean I have to partner with a stranger, but as fast as Lena's concerned, as far as Lena's concerned, she and I are already strangers, so it shouldn't make that much of a difference. Lena jumps in shock.
Whoa, are you a mind reader?
Maybe?
Something like that.
That's so cool. You're right, though. But what if he says no?
Then he says no, I guess. Nothing would have changed, right?
She taps her chin.
You know, you kind of remind me of someone I work with. Anyway, wish me luck.
Good luck.
I watch Lena goes up to Cyrus and talks to him. Too far away for me to hear. I guess it must work out because they soon set up their canvases facing each other. Unfortunately, watching them means that I missed out on my chance to find a partner. When I look around, everyone else is matched up with someone. It's more than fine with me, but unfortunately the instructor comes over and invites me to partner with her, which I begrudgingly accept. For the next little while, I struggle to make something that resembles the woman across from me. This would be a lot easier if she looked like a tree. About 10 or 15 minutes. After 10 or 15 minutes, she claps her hands and gets everyone's attention.
Time to change things up. Show your partners what you made, and then go find a new partner.
When everyone gets to that, she brings her canvas over to me.
Whoa.
It's definitely me. My tail is fluffier in real life, and my ears aren't that big. But I can still recognize myself.
Mine's not even close to that good.
Turn her out on the canvas so that she can see the results. After the painting she made, I'm kind of embarrassed to share. Still, she smiles at it.
I think it's lovely. Painting is like anything else. The more you do it, the more you improve. And I've been doing it for a long time. We all have to start somewhere, though.
The moment the instructor and I are done talking, someone taps him on the shoulder, and I turn around to see Lena.
Hey, let's be partners.
Sure.
Particularly, I just think to myself about how I'm getting paired up with another good artist. The instructor blows a whistle to signal them to start, and Lena and I both get to work.
So, how'd it go?
How'd what go?
I know she can't have forgotten me that quickly.
Talking to Cyrus.
Oh, that.
After a few shades of pink and white, I managed to paint something that looks passably close to Lena's clothes. If I squint a little, at least.
I got too nervous to really say much, so we just painted each other until it was time to switch.
In the middle of a brushstroke, Lena suddenly drops her brush in the horror.
Oh no! What if he thinks I'm boring?
I don't think anyone could think that about you.
Yeah, but what if he does? This is not good!
Leaving the paintbrush in the grass, Lena closes her eyes and puts her fingers side of her head, like she was back at tennis. She must do that for a reason, for at least a minute. Well, I just keep working on my painting. It looks more like Lena than my last one looked like painting structure. But I already know her wings are going to give me trouble.
Okay, got it. I need you to do me a favor.
Uh-huh.
What is it?
When we change partners again, I need you to go partner up with Cyrus, and then you can ask him what he thinks about me. Don't just straight up ask him, though. That'd be too obvious. Try to see if you can get him to say it without saying it.
Okay.
Say it without saying it.
Yeah, you know, like,
Just a few gestures that remind me of trades, but I have no idea what she's trying to say.
Okay, I'll try.
Thanks, I owe you one.
I'm not even motivated by that because it's not like she'll remember long enough for me to ever cash it in. I just want to see what happens.
All right, new partners. This will be the last time.
Here, this is my painting of you. It's better than the last one.
It still isn't great, but I like the way some parts of it turned out.
Ooh, I look great.
Looking down at her own canvas, Lena frowns.
I, kind of forgot to paint you. So, I guess I owe you 2 things.
That's fine.
Cool. Okay, hurry, before someone else takes him.
Okay. I walk over Cyrus as fast as I can without being self-conscious about it. Fortunately, he was distracted with something himself, so he's still on his own.
Hey, wanna be partners?
Alright. I'm sure it's a total coincidence you were just talking with Lena, right?
Not at all.
I appreciate the honesty. Anyway, let's get started.
Although set up our canvases, feel a little more in my comfort zone painting Cyrus, but at the same time, I try to think of how to do what Lena asked.
Hey, can you do me a favor?
Uh-oh. I mean, what is it?
There's something that I want to ask Lena, but I don't know how she'll take it.
Okay.
We've known each other for a bit, but that's why I'm worried. I mean, I kind of know her feelings, but not that well. So, and maybe don't ask her this outright. Maybe you can try to see how she feels by, like...
He makes some vague hand gestures that eventually turn into a shrug.
Well, you know what I mean.
No, I don't.
Anyway, what I want to know is...
A shrill whistle blows, cutting Cyrus off.
All right, that's it. Time to show him off.
Rub my ears to recover from the sound before waiting for Cyrus to continue.
Actually, never mind. It was dumb anyway. Here's what I made. Ta-da!
They both like each other. For God's sake, they both like each other. Cyrus spins his canvas around to reveal.
Oh, phew.
He can't help but breathe a sigh of relief. He's just as bad as myself. Throughout my equally unimpressive work, it's messy and scattered.
Nice job. You really captured the way I feel inside.
I would have pressed him on what he was trying to say, but because this is the second time he's almost asked me about Lena, that changes my mind. Before I can ask, though, Lena herself comes hurrying over, carrying her canvas. She walks up and shoves it into Cyrus's hands before Too much before you can even react.
I made this for you so you can have it. Okay, bye.
Okay, bye. Immediately, she zips off back the way she came. He holds the portrait out at his arm's length, and where he can see it, I move behind him to get a good view of it as well. I can't read. Just like Lena's picture of the swan, picture of Cyrus is really good. It shows him looking thoughtful as he works on his own painting, waiting his lip and concentration. There's a lot of detail in his eyes and face and on the leafy vein that runs up his neck.
Whoa. This is...
Really good?
yeah.
Two of us look around to try to find Lena, but she's nowhere to be seen. She must have left right away, or she's hiding somewhere.
What was it you wanted me to ask her?
Cyrus just shakes his head, still looking at the painting.
It's fine. I need to ask her myself.
Okay. All of us, minus Lena, help the instructor clean everything up, with some people taking home their portraits and others tossing them. Cyrus and I say goodbye to each other, but we never talk anymore about Lena. Still, even if it's a while before we hang out again, I have a feeling that I haven't heard the last of him. Fishing. Or the Tommy plotline. I like the Tommy plotline. Tommy plotline! Woo! Tommy plotline! I'm lazing around at the library, relaxing in one of the comfy chairs near the shelves, when the door opens. Two humans that I recognize walk in. Gwen, leading Tommy by the hand, of course. Gerby. Gerby is floating above them. Three of them go right past me, and Gwen takes a seat at an empty table close by.
I'm gonna be right here. Remember not to go too far away, okay?
I know.
Smiling, Gwen kisses Tommy on the forehead, and he makes a grossed out face. And she pulls out a pen and some paper and spreads them out on the table, sighing as she starts to look over them. I watch as Tommy, accompanied by Gerby, look around the kids section for a bit. He pulls a couple of books off the shelves but puts them back without opening them. Finally, he wanders over to the edge of the library and gets down on his hands and knees, crawling along the floor. I don't have anything better to do right now, so I go over to where he is as well. I nod at Gerby as I do.
What you doing?
Tommy startled at the sound of my voice, but then holds out one finger to shush me.
You're not supposed to talk so loud. We're in a library.
Great. I think kids are telling me to tell me off now.
I'm looking for spiders, though.
I see.
Spiders, huh? Why? 'Cause they're cool?
I see. Now that I think about it, he was trying to find bugs on the first time I met him. One of the first times I met him. I wonder if the one that I caught him is doing okay. Probably not, if I'm being honest.
Are you collecting them?
Yeah. Do you like bugs too?
Not really. They're okay, though.
I've eaten a few when I had no other options, but I don't think he wants to hear about that.
Nobody does, except me. Everyone thinks they're gross and creepy. But you don't.
That's why I like them. Wanna help me look?
I'm not very interested in catching spiders, but Juliet might count it as helping to clean up a bit.
Sure, why not? I think I know where some are.
Whoa, really?
Yeah! There's this one corner that's really dusty.
Gerby follows us as I take Tommy to the corner in question. Although Juliet keeps the library pretty clean, there are some spider webs and dirt between one of the shelves involves.
Wow, you were right! Gerby, come help me look!
Gerby floats down to Tommy's eye level.
Gerby's my friend. You can't see him, but he's here with us.
Cool!
I don't feel like explaining. I can see him. I can see, in fact, I can in fact see him right now. Tommy closes one eye and peers into the crevice, looking for bugs.
Actually, Gerby's my only friend. I met him when I was looking for a beetle. He looks like a flower, but he's not. If I do find any spiders, I have to get two so they're not alone. Especially if they're married. If they have any kids, then that would make their kids be really sad too.
Okay. Oh, it's this is a metaphor. This is a metaphor. he's referring to his actual parents. We're currently divorced. I have to think that being taken away to be part of a collection would make them sad, but I keep that to myself. I crouched down to help Tommy look. There are some scraps of paper and a dusty pen in the ground, and plenty of spider webs above them. No spiders in them, from what I can tell, though.
Do you know where else they are?
I don't want to take him too far away. Best to stay in the main part of the building, of the library.
Maybe up front?
If any came through the door, they might have set up close by. We go over there and start looking with Tommy. Inspecting the floor behind the furniture. I poke around as well, checking some of the corners. As I watched him crawl around, it's hard to imagine him getting into fights like I overheard his parents talk about. He seems like a nice enough kid.
Oh, found one!
Now he's kneeling down on the ground, pointing under a bookshelf. But both Gerby and I go over to see.
Look, see it?
Sure enough, I can see some kind of spider hiding in the back.
I see it. Are you gonna catch it? Looks sort of scary. It could still be nice, but I don't know how to reach it. Maybe if we come back later, it'll be easier to get.
Tommy spends a while hunting the rest of the library for more bugs, and I follow behind him for some of it. I follow. That's weird. Eventually, Gwen straightens out all her papers. Over at her table, and then comes to collect Tommy.
Tommy, what are you doing down there? You're gonna get all dirty.
Looking for spiders. This lady was helping me.
But notice me as I wave.
I'm sorry. I hope you weren't too distracted.
Don't worry, I live here.
Oh, that's convenient.
The two of us watch Tommy for a second, who still hasn't given up on the spider by the door. Gwen sighs.
Thanks for keeping him company. He doesn't have a whole lot of friends his age to play with. Meanwhile, I'm trying to study for grad school and raise a kid and work a job and get a divorce all at once. Well, not that any of that's your problem.
Gwen tries to rub her eyes and ends up almost dropping the paper she's carrying. She kind of reminds me of Aspen, the way she seems like she's holding in a lot more than she's letting out.
That's okay. I don't mind.
By tomorrow, she won't remember telling me any of this stuff, so if saying it helps her to feel better, then it doesn't really bother me, one way or another. With a tired smile, Gwen rearranges the things she's holding so that she has a free hand.
Come on, Tommy. We need to get going.
Fine.
He looks under one last bookshelf and then finally stands up. Gwen leans down to dust off Tommy's knees and pants before taking his hand.
Thanks again. If you live here, I guess we'll probably see you around. I've got a lot of studying I need to do, so I'm sure we'll be back. Say bye, Tommy.
Bye! If you see any cool bugs, save them for me!
Stop yelling, we're in a library.
Will do. Bye!
Gerby waves goodbye to me as he floats out the door with the humans. I can't help but feel a little bad for Tommy and Gwen. For Tommy's dad as well. It seems like both parents are doing their best, but Tommy has his own problems too. Without even trying, I know more about it. I know more about all of them than they're aware of. I have a feeling that won't change, especially if they're going to be back frequently, like Gwen said. Now that I'm on my own again, I return to the chair I was occupying before. Sit her down for a proper nap. After eating dinner and saying goodnight, I head upstairs and get ready for bed. As I flick off the light and start to leave the restroom, something in my reflection catches my attention. My beat is going slightly. Just barely. It's so faint that I can only notice it in the dark. Removing the necklace, I inspect it more closely. They're warm, not just my magical bead, but the regular ones right next to it. Not as warm as when I use my transformation magic, but enough that after hundreds of years of carrying them, I can detect the difference. I'm not sure what it means. Everything about my magic has always been a mystery to me. Some things like transforming, I just knew how to do it instinctively from the beginning. But other than the fact that my bead always comes back to me after, no matter where I leave it, I don't know much about it. Returning to my room, I brush my hair to the side and put the necklace back on. I don't have to wear it when I sleep, but it feels more uncomfortable not having it on, like something's missing. When I climb into bed, I pull the covers up to my chin, like always. Rather than transforming, I just lay there, staring at the ceiling. Tomorrow is my first day at work. Never in my few hundred years had I expected that thought ever crossed my mind. Laying here in the place that I've started thinking of as home, the idea doesn't seem that scary. I'm a bit nervous, but I'm excited too. Maybe I'll be really good at it. It'd be nice to be good at something other than thieving. As my eyes begin to get heavier, it occurs to me that I'd just changed to a fox by now. Except for the first night, when I was too tired, I spent all my nights here in that form. But tomorrow, taking another big step into people life. It feels more appropriate to stay this way. Rolling in onto my side, I face out the window. I let myself come to sleep, with the gentle warmth of my bead against my neck. The morning of my first day of work. I wake up extra early, at least an hour before Aspen will be here. I creep through the door. I creep through the house so Juliet can't hear me, and slip out the front door. Outside it's wet. I don't know if it's rain or just the morning dew. There's more dark than sunlight still, but I can already see that the clouds overhead are gray. Just 2 weeks ago, that would have been a cause for concern. Now it's barely worth thinking about. I have somewhere warm to go back to. I start walking, taking a familiar path. Has it really only been 2 weeks? I feel like I've done more living in the past few days than all the years than before then. Every day something new, and every evening something secure. It's a life I could have only ever dreamed about. It scares me how fast I've slipped into it. I spent my whole life alone. I devoted my entire existence to keeping it that way. But now, ever since meeting Aspen and Juliet, I'm not sure I like being on my own anymore. It feels like I'm losing part of myself. My armor, my defense mechanism. Like, I'm getting weaker? And maybe that's true, but also, maybe that's okay. Maybe it's okay to let myself be a little more vulnerable. Just a little. Maybe there's no one else to be seen on Mount Victoria as I make my way up the path. Instead of going straight to the top, I veer off into the underbush. I haven't been back to my den since Juliet came and found me. I haven't forgotten the way though. All the rain since then has done a number on the den. It's barely recognizable since most of it's collapsed into mud. In other words, it hasn't changed much since the last time I was here. I heard the birds chirp in the trees. Maybe they're the same ones I fed before.
Morning, birdies. Sorry I don't have anything for you today.
It didn't stop them from asking. Half-heartedly, I try to scoop away some of the mud from the mouth of the den, but more just slides down, erasing my progress. Then one of the walls collapses even more, making things worse.
Well, so much for that.
It's well and truly ruined. That's okay though, I don't think I'll be back. I'll be coming back here. Just 2 weeks ago, this was all I had. Now it doesn't feel like anything. Maybe that's okay too. I turn, about to head back to the main path when there's a rustle, a bush of a branch, and something comes out of the brush. She walks confidently. For a fox, she trots right out of the bushes and crosses in front of me, and freezes mid-step. Fur is pure silver, except for a patch of black across her face and paws. We lock eyes instinctively. I feel myself prepare to transform. I can greet her as a fox, but I hesitate. Is that still my place? I'd be lying if I called myself a fox now, at least fully. I relaxed, not having noticed how tense I was. My beads almost go cold, although they barely started to heat up.
Hi there.
I say it as a person instead. Same as when greeting the birds. At the sound of my voice, the fox turns tail and runs. Just give it a second thought. 1 second she's there, and the next she's almost out of sight. I can feel a pull in my chest, telling me to run after her. I'm sure I could still catch her if I tried. Of course, I don't. I'm not the kind of person who goes chasing after foxes anymore. Instead, I watch her disappear. It didn't take long. Not even the grass rustles behind her. I'm sure I'll still transform into a fox in the future. I love it too much not to. But I have to set some boundaries for myself. Watching her go fills me with a pang of longing, but also confidence. I'm making a choice to live this way, even if I regret it later. At least I thought about it. At least I'm trying. I went my way back to the trail and head to the top of Mount Victoria. Coming up here never ceases to amaze me. No matter the weather or the time of day, the view is always stunning. Right now, it's just me and the breeze. I close my eyes and spread my arms out, letting the wind ripple through my hair and jacket. For a moment, I just let myself go and appreciate how it feels to exist. To be alive and enjoying the breeze. Pretty lucky, aren't I? Slowly, I open my eyes again, looking out over the city, spread before me. The first time I came here, I thought it felt kind of small. After all, I can see the whole thing from here. But now, it strikes me how big it is. How big and how full. There are more people than there are buildings, and there are plenty of buildings. Humans and fabled all alive and existing. Up until now, it's been easy for me to forget that people exist just like that. Just like I do. That they have thoughts and feelings and things that they want, rather than just being trouble, problems to solve, or obstacles to avoid. Now I can't help but notice just how alive the world around me is. even at this early hour. I may be alone up here, but there's plenty of activity down in the city. I fumble around in my pockets until I find the right-sized coin and feed it into the binoculars nearby. I scan over the city, looking for anything that I recognize. Finding the fishing spot is easy, since all I have to do is follow the coast. The whole pier is already covered in fishermen. From there, I manage to find the belt house. Its windows are dark, and it doesn't stand out much. I wonder if Aspen will be the first one there again today. After the belt house, I aim the lens at the library. Windows are dark there too, of course, including the window to my room. I pause at that image, just my window, framed in the middle of the lens. We're all the way up here. I see a tiny little place that I can call my own. I stare at it until the shutter clicks and the view goes dark. Just like 2 weeks ago, I stood up here and wondered if I'd be better off leaving. I'm glad that I have an answer to that now. I turn around and begin the long walk home. The library is still dark when I get back, but I can hear the low murmur of conversation from the kitchen. As I step to the door, I find both Aspen and Juliet already seated at the table, waiting for me. Breakfast is already cooked too. There's a lot more food than usual.
Ah, Miho. Welcome back.
There you are. We were wondering where you'd gone off to.
Morning! Just went out for a walk. Sorry if you thought I ran away again.
Aspen shakes her head, pouring herself a cup of coffee as I sit down.
The thought crossed my mind, but I didn't really believe it. You've got a big day today, right?
You can say that again. Went on my walk just to clear my head.
I hope you're excited too. I'm happy for you, even if I am a teensy bit jealous.
Aspen puts a tiny scoop of sugar into her coffee and stirs it. Wait, is that what you're supposed to do? I'll have to remember that in case Juliet ever makes me drink tea again.
A teensy bit of jealousy is a good motivator to work even harder myself.
Oh, yes, Miho. You put the sugar cubes into your drinks, not in your mouth right away.
Actually, about that...
What's wrong, Matt? What's wrong, Juliet?
Juliet, you had better not be about to offer me a job.
Rather the opposite. I have a favor to ask. Just for today. Do you think you could assist Miho as she gets her bearings? It's getting near my bedtime, and while I'm sure Miho would be able to handle herself, I imagine a helping hand would make things easier. That is, assuming Miho doesn't mind.
Of course not!
Both of us look at Aspen expectantly. She bites her lip and tries to hide her smile behind her cup of coffee as she takes a sip.
Well, I suppose I could spare the time.
Great! But what about the Bell House? You didn't get fired, did you?
They'd go out of business the day they fire me, and they know that. But I enjoy how that's your first assumption. No, I simply swapped shifts with someone, so I don't have to go in until later.
Woo!
Wow, that's convenient.
And much to our benefit. Thank you, Aspen.
Oh, don't mention it.
Then, shall we turn our attention to breakfast instead?
Woo!
Oh, I thought you'd never ask.
Breakfast! PogChamp! There's the usual eggs and toast and fruit, but there are also pancakes and hash browns too.
You really went all out, huh?
I felt today merited a bit of a celebration. Of you, and the start of another chapter of your life.
Aw, thanks. It's really all because of you two, though. I'm just...
Oh, quit saying that. You need to give yourself more credit, Miho. We can only try to help show you the path. You're the one who has to follow it.
Whoa. Who wrote that?
You.
Nobody. I do occasionally have my own thoughts, you know. Anyway, just accept the compliment and let's eat.
Oh, I love this trio. They're so great. They're precious. They're great. I love them.
Fine.
I love Miho too. She's so pretty. I love her. We all fill out our plates and start to eat. Breakfast is as delicious as always. The pancakes are still warm and dripping with melted butter and syrup. And the hash browns are nice and crispy.
How is it?
Great! I've never had hash browns that weren't soggy before.
Sometimes that's because they were leftovers, scavenged. Sometimes even when they're fresh.
I'll be sure to remember you like them this way. Oh, and the pancakes you made are delightful, Aspen.
You made these?
Woo!
Don't sound so shocked. I have to do a lot of baking and prep work at the Bell House.
They're really, really good.
I love the voice actors are fucking amazing. What the hell?
Thank you. I'm glad you're enjoying them.
As tasty as they are, there ends up being more food than I can eat. I force myself to finish the pancakes, even though I'm full by the time I'm halfway done. Because I don't want Aspen to take it personally, but eventually I have to throw my fork down in defeat.
Did you get enough to eat, Miho?
More than enough. I think I'm set for the rest of the day.
I'm sure you'll feel differently by lunchtime.
Probably.
And there's no greater compliment to the cooks.
The three of us start to clean away the dishes, and I start to feel a little apprehensive as opening time draws near. I've spent enough time in the library to know I don't need to worry too much, but I can't help but be anxious. There's a lot of little details to remember. Not just which books go where, but stuff like names and special requests too. I already know I'm not going to be the fastest since I'll have to just copy words and see which ones match instead of being able to read them. But with all the practice and memorization I've done, I'm as ready as I'll ever be. So instead of dwelling on it, I make myself focus on rinsing the dishes, make sure I don't miss any spots. On the other hand, Aspen is positively buzzing with excitement, although I can tell she's trying to hide it. She flits she flits from task to task, straightening things that don't need to be straightened, tidying up parts of the kitchen that aren't dirty. She hums to herself as she goes, sometimes popping up beside me or Juliet. And of course, Juliet herself is the same as usual, calm and stoic. I thought she might be a bit worried about leaving the library in her hands, but considering she leaves it unstaffed most of the time, maybe not. At the very least, I'm determined to not leave the library any worse than when there's nobody running it. I can't read. Finally, we finish all the cleanup and chores.
Thank you for your assistance. Are you two ready?
Yes, whenever.
Yep.
Let's get the two of you set up then.
Jill leads us to the front desk, where there's a fresh stack of check-out shelves and a jar of pens, plus the computer, looking things up.
I did a once-over before breakfast to make sure everything was as it should be. I'm sure the two of you know your way around the place by now, and that's really all there is to it. And if you feel the need, don't hesitate to wake me.
Don't worry, we'll be fine. I'm like Cinderella. I intend to live my dreams for the precious few hours that I can.
Do you have any questions, Miho? Or anything you'd like to go over again?
I'm fine. I've done all the prep I can.
All right then. If the two of you are all set up, then I'll be off to bed. I'll see you in a few hours.
Have a good sleep.
Good night.
It's morning still. It's morning still, Aspen. With a final wave, Juliet goes upstairs and disappears into her room. From behind the desk, Aspen places her hands on her hips, looks around like a queen surveying her kingdom.
And now we wait.
I take a seat in one of the two chairs and kick my feet back and forth. After pacing around a little bit, Aspen sits down too, twirling a pen between her fingers.
Nervous?
A little bit.
It's understandable. I was nervous on my first day of work too. I'm sure everyone is.
I just don't want to mess anything up. Especially not on my first day.
Relax, it'll be fine. Not that I think you will, but even if you do make a mistake, that's natural. It's how you get better at things, by doing them wrong until you figure out the right way. There's not much that can really go wrong, either. It's not like at a restaurant where there are customers paying money and with all kinds of different orders. If it takes you some extra time to find a book or put one away, that's no big deal.
Yeah, I know you're right, but I still worry. I don't want to do such a bad job that Juliet changes her mind about me or something.
Are you still worried about that? Juliet adores you. You could burn the whole library down and she'd still let you live in the ashes.
That'd be closer to what I'm used to, at least.
Right, you and your dramatic backstory.
My what?
Backstory? Life story? Whatever you want to call it. I'm sorry, I shouldn't make light of it.
Oh, it's fine. I don't mind. Just forget that you think it's interesting.
I hope someday you understand why. Maybe you'll hear a story that resonates with you and makes you want to know more, or get to know that person better.
Thank you. She pokes me in the side with her pen.
Like me, when I met you.
Yee.
I guess that makes sense. Like when I talked to you and Juliet.
Juliet, perhaps. Even I don't know much about her life before she came to Welly, and even that is fuzzy.
Interesting.
And you?
I know this makes me sound like a hypocrite, but there really isn't much to say about my past. For one thing, I don't have nearly as many years as you two. But also, I had a boring, normal childhood in a boring, normal town. I went to a boring, normal school for a while before I moved out here, hoping for a change of pace. But now I live a boring, normal life, just in a different city.
Aww.
I'll bet I wouldn't think it's boring. I don't even know what a normal town and normal school are like.
Poor Aspen. Aspen opens her mouth to say something, but right as she does, the front door opens and Aspen leaps to her feet.
Good morning!
The guest, a red-headed human, looks surprised.
Oh, hello. Wasn't aware there was anyone working this early.
I'm just helping out today. But Miho here is the library's new daytime caretaker.
Hi there.
I wave, but I'm not sure if there's anything else I'm supposed to say. Luckily, Aspen seems to have it
Let us know if
covered.
there's anything we can do to help.
Cool. Congrats, Miho. I'm just here to browse. Thanks, though.
Enjoy!
She gives her a bright smile as... Gives him a bright smile as he walks in and heads to the books. Before taking her seat again.
Good job! Thank you. Why don't you greet the next guest?
Do I have to do that for everyone who comes in?
No.
No, but a smile and greeting never hurt. Although we'll have to keep the volume down.
Right.
Right. The door opens again and the pair of twin dryads enter. I stand up, my legs feeling just a little shaky.
Hi! Let us know if we can help.
Neither of them speak, but they both smile gracefully and nod in a great acknowledgement as they pass by us.
See? That wasn't so bad, was it?
Eh,
No, but so far no one's needed any help.
it only just
True.
opened.
Let's see who we get next.
You don't have to wait long. A breathless man carrying a stack of books staggers his way over to us.
Do you work here? Can you check these in for me? I'm running late as it is. Thanks.
Okay. Before we can even answer, he drops his books on the desk and then hurries back out the door.
I wonder why he was in such a rush.
No clue, but I respect him still taking the time to drop off his returns. Do you want to start writing them down?
Sure.
Taking a deep breath, I grab the top book and a pen. The title isn't too long, fortunately. Slowly, I start to copy the letters down. First a curve, then a straight line, then a loop, then an arc.
Hello, welcome.
Then I don't even hear the door. I didn't even hear the door open this time. What? As more and more people start to come in, Aspen and I both end up pretty busy. Pile of books that need to be checked and grow fast, and I have to start taking some of them back to the shelves as I go, just to make more space. By using a little chart with the alphabet and numbers on it, I'm able to slowly match the labels to each book on their spot on the shelves. As the library gets busier, though, I start making some educated guesses about where certain books belong, putting them with others that look similar. I can fix it later if I have to.
Miho, could you give me a hand, please?
Over at the desk, the line of people have gone pretty long. I have no idea what all these people normally did when there wasn't anyone to help them. I shove the rest of the stack I'm carrying into an empty shelf and hurry over to help Aspen. After finishing with one guess, she hands me a few handwritten notes with labels and numbers on them.
Can you go find these? I think one was returned today, so it might not be on the floor yet. Also, these ones were checked out in the wrong name, so they need to be corrected on the sheet. These 3 here are going to be picked up later, but we've been asked to pull them ahead of time, so make sure not to get them mixed up with the others. Okay?
Got it. Maybe.
Jesus.
You've got this.
With a little cheer, she goes back to assisting people. I watch for just a moment. She's clearly in her element here. Even with the line going longer, and Aspen doesn't seem to be getting nervous. I can't say the same about myself, though. There's no time to waste. I bounce around the library trying to find the books Aspen wrote down. It takes a while, and I get the instructions mixed up a few times. But eventually I manage to track them all down. When I bring them up to the desk, the stack of returns has gotten almost as tall as I am. So I start checking them and as quickly as I can. Meanwhile, Aspen has moved around in front of to give me more space for writing work.
Alright, let's see.
Let's see. I grab a top book, start a copy, then the next, then the next, and the next. After that, for long, they all start to blend together, and the letters seem to swirl more, move around on the page. Thought this was gonna be easy. It's making my brain feel like soup. I'm determined to push through, though. Even if it takes me forever. Which at this rate, it just might. If Aston weren't here, I don't know what I'd do. Or what I'd even do tomorrow on my own. I can worry about that later, though. For now, I have to keep doing this the best I can. Book after book, line after line, I guessed after guessed. It gets easier as the day goes on, but I wouldn't say it gets easy. But Aston and I keep going, and eventually we do start to get things under control and keep the chaos to a minimum. It's tough work, but not too tough. Maybe Aspen was right about something. The more I try, the more I feel like I could do with this. that's the end of the chapter. I think that is a good place to end the stream after finishing chapter 2 and speeding through chapter 1 because I did chapter 1 already when I did the demo. Well, that was fun though. Okay, let's go to the title. Let's go to the chapter screen. Earning your keep. After taking a long morning walk, Miho spends her first day at work. Library assisted by Aspen. Well, that was fun. Okay, let's go. I saved just now. That was fun. Very cute. I'm excited to see what comes next. Look at the beauties. Look at them, they're so pretty. And for what? Oh my god, can't believe it. Yeah, I think we're gonna end it there. That was fun. A good near 4 hours of gaming, of reading, because you know that's what visual novels are. But I enjoy it. It's fun. Visual novels are a fan favorite. A favorite medium of type of game because reading is fun, and just like the visuals are always great. This game had some great visuals. Let's look at the credits real quick. Where are the credits?
Now, how does this work?
Where are the credits? Credits, extra. Credits. You've got the director. The scenario. Oh my god. Programmer, oh yeah. Once again, thanks to student Elaine. They publish some great games. I played I think I played 1 or 2 of the other ones. I know I played the demo of this game, obviously. Then I played Who is the Red Queen, which was a slight psychological horror, and a twist on Alice in Wonderland. Okay, who's the artist though? Who is the artist? Art director, artist. Oh my god, artists in this game. The character designs are amazing. They're great. I love them. Oh, the voice actors. That's Miho's voice actor and Silver. I don't think I met Silver yet. I think that's the wolf. The wolf is not wolf. The fox we saw earlier. Got Aspen. Got Juliet. You got Lena. I haven't formally met Mr. Kim yet. Like I've seen him in the demo in chapter 1. Nothing else past that though. Tommy, Gwen, Traveler, Cleo. Haven't met Cleo yet. Haven't met this person yet. Haven't met this person. I met Cyrus. There's a bunch of people I haven't met yet because I'm only in 2 chapters in. Huh? They got additional voices of like background characters, I assume. Yeah, it was fun though. That was great. Collaboration with publishing Project Sekai Project, sorry. We got some testers. That was fun. Alright, okay, we're ending it there. I'm going to raid out as usual because raiding is fun and cool. /raid. Who are raiding? You're the usual person who streams at the exact same time as me, which is very funny. But to raid a random person. Let's see what games we have to choose from. Let's make this one. Surprisingly, that's weird. Okay. We're gonna raid out. I hope everyone enjoyed watching the game and, like, you know, listening to me reading and my voice slowly dying as I was reading the the narrations and stuff. Everyone has a wonderful day, / night, whenever you're watching this, and see you guys next time.